Humans, delighted welcome. I am, of course, I don't know who I am anymore. You know, today's intro sequence was going to be a great one. It was going to be the 75th episode of Battletech, and I had a whole really long intro written out, but I got to tell you, last night I mixed up Sir Tristan and Sir Gawain as part of the tale of the Green Knight, Arthurian legend, and it shook me. It shook me real bad because lately I've been making a lot of mistakes like that. Like the last year, 18 months, I've been making continual factual mistakes. So I'm just worried that I'm forgetting things. And I had a whole intro sequence written down, but I can't find it. Pause for laughter. No? Okay, alright. I'll let that one slide. I know.
Damn it! I missed the last half of it.
It's alright. It was
I
a
was distracted by
real
child.
low effort for 75 episodes. I just really tried to phone it in. The real 75th episode will be next week. Cotton and Pondo are out today. Unexpectedly at the last minute. These guys still want to hang around, talk, maybe do something, so we're going to try that. After we do introductions, I'm going to tell you about some of the weird shit Rad's been doing, and we'll talk about that as a group, and then we'll just open up the floor to anything but apparently Star Wars. Or maybe just the Star Wars movies. Maybe that's the only off topic, because I gotta tell you, I'm so fucking disappointed in High Republic right now. I had
Wait,
hope.
already? You were super
I had
pumped
hope
on it
for
like 12 hours ago.
I know. I had hope for 18 hours, and then they confirmed Bob Iger's getting removed from the company. No video game tie-ins, no movie tie-ins. It's going to be novels only, and no other products will touch it. Brad, let's hop to you for your intro.
I think I'm Ratosaurus.
Yeah.
Welcome to our show tonight. And I think that's okay, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So I told you on Discord that I was determined not to be excited by this. And it's not so much determined. I'm honestly, legitimately just not excited by it. I'm not excited by any Star Wars news, and that is not because my love of Star Wars has been squelched in any way. It's because it's not that I've lost faith in Disney to make good movies, because Disney makes a lot of movies that I love, and they still do on a fairly regular basis. I don't love every movie they make, but I like enough of them to where I have confidence that in the future they will at some point make another movie that I will love. Whether it's a Star Wars movie or some other Disney movie, I don't know, whatever it is. But the reason I've lost faith in not Star Wars, but Star Wars news is because how radically unreliable the Star Wars studio executives and production process has been in getting anything off the ground whatsoever. They announce information way too early. They get excited about some hot new director. That director leaves for creative differences, or they sign somebody else, or they get or they get the Obi-Wan thing going as a show, and then they're like, no, wait, maybe it's going to be a movie. No, wait, it's on indefinite hold. Like, I'm so sick of their fickleness and their inability. I don't know if it's a Kathleen Kennedy thing. I know right now, like on the internet, everything that's wrong in the world is Kathleen Kennedy's fault, and that's fine. I don't feel that way, but I get it. I get Star Wars fans' dissatisfaction. I think it's
you heard it here first.
Valid.
Coronavirus, Kathleen Kennedy's fault.
Right. Right. Like everything that's right in the world is Kevin Feige, and everything that's wrong in the world is Kathleen Kennedy. Whatever is going on at Skywalker Ranch or wherever these creative processes are made has got me absolutely burnt out on Star Wars news. I don't watch any of the YouTube channels. I don't watch any of the speculation videos. I don't care about any of it. So anytime any news comes out that's like Star Wars is doing this, I just whatever. What I told Arthur on Discord was I want to see a release date and a trailer, and then I will begin to get excited about something. But until then, I'm not excited at all. Despite all of that, I still got on the internet and looked up more about what this High Republic business was going to be. And while I'm not over the moon about the High Republic, I'm not against it. I'm just not. It wasn't some magical revelation that I thought would be the best idea ever. I think people have, for a long time thought that going a couple hundred to 1,000 years backwards is a good idea. I don't think that's a new idea at all. I think that's an old idea that
Knights of the
fans
Old
have been crying
Republic
about
video
forever.
game decided we're just going to go backwards for 1,000 years, so
Yeah.
we don't even have to deal with any of
Exactly.
the fucking lore, and that way we won't fuck up any of the lore.
Right. And that's really what I think Star Wars. I think that's what most people think Star Wars needed to do, was they needed to go way back or way forward, pick one or the other, get away
Or
from
extremely
everything that's
sideways.
right. Get away from everything that's so heavily established, and the whole Skywalker saga. Like, it's
Like what
over
the
for
Mandalorian
better or
did.
worse. Yeah, exactly. Let's go on. Let's move on. So I think that was a long time coming. So I didn't get a huge internet boner over that. But what I do like that they're doing, what does get me excited, is the process to which they're coming to this. I like how they got all of these creative authors together at Skywalker Ranch, started coming up with a collaborative, collective, coherent vision of what this new setting was going to be, who their main characters were going to be, what their main story threads were going to be. I think this is the right creative decisions for Skywalker Ranch to make to
So
create something.
Now, when I throw this
actually
at you,
making
Rad.
a story arc before they start making
Right.
it.
Right. Unlike what they did
Unlike
with the
the
new
movies.
trilogy. Yeah. Unlike what they did with the new trilogy, and unlike what they did with Star Wars Legacy, where people are just fucking all over the place with what they wanted to write about. They actually got a group together and started to storyboard out a setting. And I think that's really smart. I think that's really good. I like that about this news. The setting is great. That's fine. I'm not disappointed or excited about it.
I want to throw this at you.
Go, Arthur.
They're calling their bad guys the Nile. What I want to say is, time travel, is it possible? Could Nile have gone into the past in order to raise up a new group of Sith Knights?
I mean, we know time travel is possible. We've seen it happen in the Star Wars canon.
That's true. We have in the World Between Worlds.
That's right. So, so even if I don't read a single one of these books or comic books, and even if they're not good, I'm at least glad that they're going about the creation process in a way that at least is appealing to me. They got all these authors together and storytellers, and they started working, and people from very different backgrounds that all have very different perceptions of Star Wars. Is what that's the line from the video, right? Like, we're all super different, and we want to make Star Wars or whatever. But I love that they got different creative opinions in them together. I love, so there wasn't a bunch of shills basically that just want to write Star Wars books and make, I mean, I'm sure they want to write Star Wars books and make lots of money, don't get me wrong. But at least the video makes it seem like they're people that are passionate about their view of Star Wars, which again, that's Disney propaganda at its finest. But it's heartening at least to know that at least they know that that's what we want to hear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously they're telling us what we want to hear, but at least they have an idea of what we want to hear. That's at least a good sign, I guess, in my opinion. And they got concept artists in there, like drawing this stuff out. So like I like hearing about the process. So that's heartening, at least to me. So even if this isn't about movies and TV shows, which is what I want to see, at least they're endorsing a methodology that I hope will transfer over to whatever direction they decide to move in for television and movies. So that was the good news to me as far as Star Wars goes. Other than that, my week's been fine. I have had some long days at work. I'm very tired. My feet hurt a lot. Next weekend, I have my first battle assembly in Colorado, so I'm a little bit stressed out about that. But all word to the wise is that it's a pretty laid-back place and should be lots of fun. I have to wake up at the ass crack Friday morning.
Are you flying civilian or military?
I'll definitely flying civilian every chance I get, for sure. Flying military is kind of a shit deal.
I don't know.
Unless you're on orders, and I'm going to battle assembly, but I'm not on like active duty orders. So
all right, I gotta tell you, man,
it'd be a mistake to fly military.
I don't know if the airports are going to be open in a week, but
I'm keeping an eye on it. I don't honestly know what the story is with that. So
James, did you just me? You just that? I mean, people are losing their minds, and rightly so. It's been a long time since we've seen a pandemic with this level of mortality rate.
So that's incorrect, because the mortality rate of this is only 2.3%, which is lower than both SARS and MERS. and
I mean, SARS was like a
swine flu.
decade ago, right?
Yeah, that's it. So it's recent memory only. So the reason that I scoffed is so my employer has had this thing where I work for a global company, and at first they suspended all travel everywhere,
Yeah.
like no domestic travel, no international travel. Now they've reduced it to so I think we can now travel domestically as of last week, and I think as of the 1st of March, Australians can travel back to New Zealand and back and forth. But once again, 80% of the deaths from COVID-19 have been people over the age of 65. So it's traditionally the elderly, the infirm, the immunocompromised, the infants that are badly affected by it. So for someone like the four of us, it's really a cold or a flu. It's a flu at the end of the day, but it's also very contagious, which means that if someone like the four of us get it, we can carry it to people that are.
I gotta tell
severe.
you, I don't know if you know this, but Delaware is like the Florida of the North.
Okay.
I don't know if there's anyone else in a half-mile radius of me. There's thousands of people that are 55 plus here.
Yeah.
It could be a fucking wasteland in my neighborhood if it comes this way.
So we had in Australia, for example, they just announced like this plan for managing it 2 days ago, where they put like 3 levels of alert. And so the first level of alert is the idea that the current infrastructure that exists can support that level of alert. So the number of nurses, the funding for hospitals, the amount of emergency services, they'll be pushed, but they'll be pushed within the boundaries that are set for the regular operation. Now, having a wife who is in the medical field, she tells me that they're already pushed anyway. But yeah, they've
On a
now
regular
said that
basis,
first level.
yeah, it doesn't have anything
Yeah.
to do with the disease.
Exactly. Then they've said, and they've equated this to being the same level when SARS or MERS was around. Then the second level they're talking about is where the current infrastructure cannot support the healthcare requirements of the people that are going to be getting infected, and they need to put additional resources. And they've said that'll be the equivalent of the swine flu epidemic from about 10 years ago. And then they've said the third level is where literally society needs to give itself over to controlling the virus. So that means closing schools, closing airports, closing businesses that have large numbers of congregations.
I mean, they're already starting that process in Japan. Stage 3 has begun.
Which they said that would be the equivalent of the Spanish flu, from the post-World War I Spanish flu, which obviously killed 10 million people globally.
Let me tell you something, you Australian son of a bitch, about swine flu. Last time I visited Australia, I'm talking 48 straight hours of flight from Washington, D.C. Okay? I was dehydrated as fuck. I go through one of their scanners. They're like, "Sir, you look sick. You're running a high temperature. We're going to need to quarantine you." I'm like, "No, I just need a Gatorade and a sandwich. Maybe like a gallon of Gatorade." And they're like, "We're quarantining you." Several hours later,
would say.
I was at a Subway counter just like, "I'd like a Gatorade and a sandwich, please." Australia does not fuck around at all.
No. Personal opinion is it is a bit of a beat up, and it's exacerbated by the fact that one of my bosses, before she was in sales, is actually a PhD in virology. So she's been sort of looking into the science of what's been released as well. So I think that the real risk is more infecting the vulnerable, not of people like you or I dying from it. But certainly,
there are reports that are already saying in the United States it's been uncontained and healthcare workers have already gotten it.
Yeah. The economic. I'm more worried about the economic impact. I'm worried about.
That doesn't mean they're dying from it.
This is this. Oh my god! The economic impact is the single greatest drop in a single day in all of human history. It's like burning Rome.
And we're not even feeling it right now. Like, I'm speaking to my suppliers in China, and they're saying that we can supply normally because we've got all the back end components, but they're worried about 3 to 6 months time because with China you've got this city tier system. So the idea is that when you retire in China, your pension is based upon the tier of city you retired in. So if you retire in Beijing, you'll get a higher pension than someone who retires in, say, Zhuhai. And even if you move to a higher tier city, you keep the same pension. So skilled workers like engineers are always trying to move to the higher tiered cities, which means that if you've got companies like Samsung or Panasonic who make high grade manufactured goods in China, they tend to do those out of those tier 1 cities like Shenzhen or Beijing. But the component manufacturers who are just making bits and pieces, they're making silicon, they're making PCBs, diodes, etc. They tend to be in the smaller tier 3 cities like Wuhan. So that's where those are the factories that are closed right now, the ones making all the bits and pieces. And so in 3 months' time, when the manufacturers run out of bits and pieces, that's when you'll start seeing lack of TVs and computers and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a wave of things for a time. James, since we've jumped into this, let's do your intro.
Hi, I'm James. James of the Grimdark Podcast. Currently on hiatus, but looking to start up a couple of new. I'm looking at doing a Kill Team stream actually soon, like recording some Kill Team games with friends, and not a stream live, but putting them up on YouTube. I need to be doing some more stuff while the podcast is on a temporary hiatus. But yeah, you can usually follow me or catch me on Arthur's stream here at on Saturdays for the Warhammer stream. Yeah, obviously you can probably pick up while I talk about stuff. I'm keen to have a chat today. Actually, I'm glad we're able to still get together and just shoot the shit on the internet.
Sid Alpha, I would like you to do your introduction and then explain to me why you're playing Doki Doki Literature Club. In that order.
Yes. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sid Alpha, someone who apparently only occasionally makes YouTube videos these days.
You're kind of quiet right now. That's weird because you weren't quiet earlier.
How's that?
Oh yeah. That's What do you call yourself? The audio chocolate something?
I mean, that's just what I've been called. I don't walk around going, "Hi, I'm Sid Audio Chocolate." No, no.
Well,
That's
maybe you
ridiculous.
should.
I gotta tell
Maybe I
you,
should.
now that you say it like that, I was against it, but once you said it out loud, now I'm actually for it. God, it sounds like a really good radio name, doesn't it? Sid Audio Chocolate. Here on K-Rock 107.1.
Yeah, the past several weeks have been pretty brutal at the day job. I've already put in like 50 hours so far this week, and I expect by the time the week is over, I'll be clocking in close to 70, maybe 80 hours by the time I'm done Saturday. So it's been a week. Not very conducive to being able to find time to actually make YouTube videos. I actually had to threaten just to not have to cancel my own self tonight, which is fun. I was basically told everyone in the company, don't call me, don't email me, I'm not going to respond. And if there's an emergency, take it to one of the other two guys that can also do what I do. I have no idea what Arthur's doing right now.
I was lip syncing to Don't Stand So Close to Me. That really should have been what you went with.
Should have been. And the reason why I was playing Doki Doki Literature Club is because I had a metric ton of people tell me that I needed to play that game. And so I realized I actually own this, and I've never even installed it. I was given a review code for it, actually. So I went ahead and just like, all right, I'll install it and check it out. It starts off as a very, very bog standard.
Do not spoil it.
Dating sim type game, but it was interesting. It didn't leave the types of things within that game don't leave with me nearly the amount of impact that they leave with most people. I think it's probably because I just lack that sort of empathy for fictional characters. But I do have to say the storytelling, the capacity and the capability for the people doing the storytelling within the game is top notch. It was really, really fascinating to watch.
I'll tell you what's top notch. That soundtrack. They fucking nailed every single part of that game with the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. Oh, everything with the music, the audio elements, the visual elements, all of it was just...
some of those visual, it integrated really well with each other. I
it actually surprised me in a few spots. So like that was really clever.
Very dark. Incredibly dark.
It didn't leave much of an impact on me as far as the dark elements go, but that's just because I'm a mean bastard. But it was some really good storytelling. And I'm actually glad I played it and I went through it.
When are you going to play that, what's this game I've been playing on Steam that Jesse Cox was part of? Max Gentleman's Sexy Business.
Oh, that game that they just released.
Yeah.
I saw his announcement about that. I haven't even bothered looking at it.
I gotta tell you, I was on the fence. I was like, I never heard of this game, but if Jesse Cox is saying, get in on this, I'm on the fence. I'm sitting halfway, and then they announced that Christina V was doing voice acting and voice directing for it, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going in. You know what? It is basic as fuck.
Is it?
The gameplay is literally just it's like a board game, right? It's like you spend your meeples, who are your executives, and you place them on the board, and they gather things, and you spend those things to gather more things, etc., etc., etc. So it's really basic in that regard. The dating simulator part is their choices don't matter, is what bothers me. Like, you can't ever fail at a date. So, but all these negative things that I'm saying about it, the story is incredibly well written. It's actually that's the only thing keeping it above water. And one of the dating candidates was basically written exactly for me. I mean, every single thing that she says, 100%. She's a witch in Victorian England. She doesn't like people. She only likes talking to cats. She transits in a vehicle. She with shades on it. All of her rooms are dark with all of the windows covered, etc., etc., etc. It's too perfect. They got me. They fucking boomed me. I want them on my MVP team.
Well, I'll add it to my backlog.
Yeah, I mean, gotta tell you, except for the writing, which apparently you're not in on that kind of stuff. The game is so the gameplay mechanics are from like 20 years ago. You know,
oh goody.
We're talking like Mafia 1 level of mechanics.
Holy crap! All right.
This is not advanced. I mean, European board games from 30 years ago would absolutely have this level of mechanics.
Wow. All right. One other thing I did note, I'd caught the live stream reveal of Baldur's Gate 3 today.
Yeah, people are losing their goddamn minds in general chat.
I don't know why they're losing their goddamn minds about it.
You don't like it?
Well,
I gotta tell you, I never played Baldur's Gate 1 or 2, so I have no strong attachment.
Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 are in my top 5 video games of all time. I will say that. I love those games that much. Baldur's Gate 3, it looks so very similar to some other games that I played in the past that I really didn't enjoy as far as the overlay and the mechanics. But
Divinity 2 or others?
People were saying it was like Divinity with the way
it does look very similar to a reskin of Divinity 2.
So tell me, Sid, for someone who's never played it, what type of game was Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2?
Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2 were basically your traditional top-down or 1.5 down series.
Isometric.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so like a Diablo style view. Maybe not controls
even simpler
necessarily.
than that. Like effectively, the character sprites were over a pre-painted environment, really. So there wasn't
like
even any sort of 3D elements.
Or Septerracore.
Okay.
I mean, it was really one step above the old gold box D&D games. It was the first sort of 3D D&D game. It was second ed at the time as well. So you still had to work out THACO.
Like,
did you control a party?
Pillars of Eternity.
Okay.
If you ever looked at that, it's like an older style version of that.
Okay.
You had a single character, but you were able to recruit a party of NPCs up to a total of 6.
I see.
So, but there were things like if the main character ever died in combat, the game was instantly over. Whereas the others could die and you could resurrect them.
Just like real life.
So the entire game is completely based off D&D 5th edition rules and mechanics. And they're doing a lot of interesting stuff with it. But I don't know, the way everything looked, it seemed a bit, I don't know, fidgety. maybe a little clunky. With trying to, it's also one of those things where it is combat and everything is entirely turn based. So much so to the point where you can actually put yourself into turn based mode before you get into combat, so you can properly position yourself. And it's very tactical and strategic in that manner. It's one of those that it's definitely not a fast paced game at all. I'm more interested in the story more than anything else, but I'm not terribly excited about the gameplay itself from what I've seen.
Did you play Divinity 2, Rad, at all?
I did not. My brother absolutely was beating my door down to play with him, and I wanted to. I really did, but I've just classically always been a one game person. So
Yeah.
at the time, I was playing a different game. So
I tried to get very far through Divinity 2, but one of the elements that I first thought was cool, but then got a bit tiresome, was the fact that so much of the environment is interactable, and so many of the items you use, you can just do weird things with. So if there's like a trap on the ground, like a pressure trap, you can just grab something out of your tree, like a fur or something, and throw it over the trap in order to walk across it. So you could do all these sort of weird combinations of gear, which was a nice nitty feature. But then you sort of got tired of working out what weird concoction of shit can I pull together. And I was watching the live stream of BG3, and at one point the players sort of saying, okay, well, I've run out of attack actions to kill this intellect devourer, so I'm going to take my shoes off and throw my shoes in the intellect devourer, and that ends up killing the intellect devourer.
Wow.
Which is it's showing off the system rather than D&D.
Right. You don't want your game to hinge on like the gimmick of interactability, sort of.
Well, let me tell you something. Divinity Original Sins and 2 is basically, in a multiplayer game, it's about positioning yourself so that one person can use the field rain mechanic, and number 2 can use either ice or lightning on it, so that the whole battlefield either gets completely frozen over and all your enemies freeze in place, or the lightning will deal continuous lightning damage. The problem is the enemies can do the same thing. So you'll be like, all right, we got him. We got it positioned. Use lightning. And then someone's like, no, wait, my character's standing in a puddle of water. And then the whole battlefield is like, bzz, and their character is like, oh, God, I'm dying. You killed me. That is, you'll get like 3 or 4 fights where everything goes perfectly. In that one fight where just like blood will also do these effects. So if you start stabbing somebody and their blood sprays on you, the electricity will travel through the blood and electrocute you. This fucking one.
Yeah.
Classically, I enjoy like turn-based tactical games, but I never played those. I always wanted to, but never got around to it.
Always reminds me of Icewind Dale, which was the sort of the follow-up to Baldur's Gate, but you didn't have you can made all 6 characters, so there was no story attached to your character. There was just story attached to the group. But one of the gimmicks in that would be you could get one of your characters completely fire resistant, and then run them behind the enemy group, and then just cast Burning Hands on your own character. Because Burning Hands had like an animation of like a flamethrower effect, you could then run them back and forth behind the enemy, like washing the flames over all the enemy units, and it was like the easy mode for the game.
Yeah, Icewind Dale and Icewind Dale 2 were also fantastic games.
Icewind Dale 2 was the first computer game in 3rd edition rules, I think. No, actually, there was pools of... what was the other one called? The one that started up in the swamp with the giant frogs. I can't remember what it's called now, but yeah, Icewind Dale 2 actually used 3rd edition rules, which is why they didn't convert it when they did the recent redos again, because it was a whole different rule set.
Okay. Let's start. I know it sounds like we've been talking about lots of things, but actually, we're 30 minutes in and we just finished introductions. So, that's actually pretty standard considering we don't have all 5 people here, or 6 people here. I want to throw this to the audience, but also to everybody here. We got some new rad overlays that he's been working on. He messaged me and he was like, Arthur, I'm here to ruin your day. I know you're in the middle of the doctor's office getting some bad news, but let me tell you something. I noticed that I don't have any overlays on your shows anymore. And I'm like, that can't be correct. And I went back through my playlist and I was like, from a certain point of view, your point of view, you're correct. From my point of view, you're wrong. And he's like, I want to make a new overlay for Battletech. And I'm like, I'm heavily medicated now, so do whatever the hell you want. So he did.
I did.
And he made a new set of overlays, but now that he's seen the overlays, he wants to double down. Your idea, correct me if I'm wrong, Rad, is to use Discord video to also stream you making art during Battletech episodes and then picture-in-picture it over the overlay.
It's true. Well, no, you don't have to put it on the overlay.
Okay. Well, then where would I put it?
I don't know that you have to put it anywhere. Like, if people want to have it open,
just the audience can get that bonus content. Okay.
Yeah.
There'll be no YouTube stuff afterwards. It'll just be what's live.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to find a way to record it and do all that or whatever, you can. But my idea was just to do it just live during the show. I'm sure I could figure out a way to record it myself and give it to you or put it somewhere or something. I don't know. I'm less interested in that. Just more, I don't know. I thought I would like to gauge whether or not people who watch the show live would be interested in also that. And it's not even that I would do it every episode or all the time. Just sometimes, if I had something to draw, I could do it, and you could watch me draw Battletech stuff on your second monitor or whatever. I don't know. For me as a viewer, I don't know if I'd even care, because I don't usually watch shows. I listen to them.
Yes, I know. That's a
I don't
very
know.
popular option.
But I also don't watch them live.
I want to tell you, for the 75th episode of Battletech, which was going to be tonight, but will probably be next week, I was going to spend the whole time creating entirely new words, such as people's names or places, locations, things like Sleemow music, in order to completely fuck up the Google Translate. Just absolutely destroy closed captions for the episode, because I know Dynamis is out there watching, and I want to make it incomprehensible. Rad, I think we both know that Sid doesn't watch the show because he's on the show, but James, you watch this show from time to time, one might say.
I do. Every time.
Would you hop on Discord to watch Rad draw live? Are you doing it right now, Rad? Are you literally just doing it?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now, but that's because I want
right now, right in front
of us. That's because I want to show you some things about
audience,
the overlay.
Let me tell you something. If you want to just whip it out right now in front of all of us, hop on live streaming in the Shadow Realm on Discord and watch Rad draw stuff live.
Listen, live audience, I'm having some technical difficulties with this overlay. Maybe you can help me solve the problem.
If you've got a problem, maybe the audience can solve it. Check out the hook while the DJ revolves it.
So now, but primarily I'm doing this so Arthur can see what I'm talking about.
Yes.
You're invited to look, I guess, if you want. So this is the image. You're looking at it, Arthur?
I am. I'm here.
So this is the image, right?
Correct.
And when I superimpose images on it, they are that size.
Okay, so that's what you want. You want them to be much bigger.
So, well,
I can do that.
I want you to not scale it at all, because I have meticulously placed each of these images where I felt they needed to go to be as aesthetically pleasing as possible to the overlay. So, for example, if I go to this.
No audience members have joined us.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't particularly care about that.
I care. I wanted to know whether this would be successful or not.
Well, hey, if it's not,
now the audience is joining us. Just know, audience, that we can't hear you because we've all muted our headsets.
And I could send you this layered file if it helps you at all, Arthur. But so I have, you see where the box is?
Yep.
I have it. And the idea is you just bring in the art reel, which has this image in it.
Correct.
And you just move the art reel.
I mean, you know that I've done this because you've seen
right. Put it right on top of that.
Yeah, my targeting computer was locked on.
And I don't know how your art reel works. Is it just a folder that you have slideshow?
Yep.
Okay. So then I'm trying to figure out why the images ended up so much smaller.
I resized it to fit inside that box.
You did resize it. Okay.
Yes, I mentioned that to you. That I resized it to fit
I
inside the box.
believe that
'cause
you did. Yes, that's true.
Your image says to do that. It says make sure everything fits inside this box. So I did. I followed the instructions,
Well,
which
look,
required
look,
some
Arthur.
resizing.
Oh my God! Wait. Hold on.
Use this
You're
frame
right.
to slide in position.
Listen. Listen. This is absolutely my fault. My original template, it had a note on it that specifically had an arrow pointing at Black Rabbit's ear hanging outside the box, and the note said, "It's okay if your image doesn't fit in the box. Just use the box
I understand, Rad.
to locate your image."
I'll try to fix it when I get a chance.
Okay. All right. We're on the same page now. It was a miscommunication that was my fault. Okay. I'm just glad we could clear that up together.
Yeah, I activated my targeting computers, but
Okay. And now, if you watch live, you've gotten a sneak peek at what the new overlay looks like. And I've already decided that I don't like it and I want to make a new one.
it's been
So
like
there's that
40
too, of
minutes
course.
today getting it fitted to work.
So listen, today.
It's fine.
while
Do
I was-
whatever you want, Rad.
Yeah, whatever. So today, while I was standing in the middle of a field watching concrete dry, literally, I was thinking to myself, how do we make this overlay more Battletech? And I started thinking, what I want to do is I want to start breaking down the artistic elements in the harebrained schemes Battletech, looking at their menus, looking at some of like their splash screens, stuff like that. And I'm wondering if I can't not change the layout. The layout will stay exactly the same. Mostly what would be changing is the artistic direction of the background itself, the color palette and the nameplates, and maybe even some bordering that would go on it to make it look like more like the harebrained schemes Battletech, like menu layout. Make it look more Battletech. So because right now I think
some of the classic Battletech elements would be things like the yellow and black hazard stripes.
Right, and I've been trying to figure out
metal checker plating, schematics. That's sort of things I think fit into the Battletech aesthetic.
For sure. So that's those are some of the things I like to incorporate. I really wanted to do the hazard stripes, but I've noticed I think they play a pretty prevalent role in your 40K overlay, don't they? Doesn't Sunspirit have them in there? The hazard stripes?
True, but he doesn't have a copyright on that though. Like hazard stripes.
I know, but I know. Look, his overlays are amazing. But yeah, I'm just trying to figure out a direction.
All right, someone clip that right there. Someone clip the last 30 seconds. All right, listen. Sunspirit's always like, I don't know.
Dude, I'm straight up jealous of how good of an overlay.
Keep clipping.
Sunspirit
Don't stop clipping, guys. We need this clip. Send it immediately.
I kid you not.
Send it on Dark Inquisition chat right now.
Look at Discord right now at this basic bitch shit that I put together, and then tune in to either 40K or On the Table's Top and behold a masterpiece.
I want to tell you something. You have half of Sunspirit's work that he has done for me is waiting on Food Dungeon to come out.
I know. I've seen a few clips of it.
Mappings. He did these custom tools.
Mm-hmm.
He made a boss for me. He made some monsters for me. He turned Sid Alpha into a monster. He turned me into a monster.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we got a Sid Alpha monster.
Turned me into a monster? It happened during Cancol.
Yeah, no, I'll go find a picture of it. I'm not going to send it to you, and I'll describe it to you. I gotta hold something in reserve here, man. The Food Dungeon is the royal flush up my sleeve that I'm waiting for a good hand to come around for everybody else and then dump my cards secretly in their table and be like, look at this royal flush. How did that happen? You guys were all in, right?
Oh, where'd that come from? But yeah, so okay, we solved my art problem. I guess I can stop streaming art now.
Sure. Fine, I'll stop watching. It's not like I care anyway.
I did it. Okay, maybe I'll stream some more here in a little bit. One person that's watching.
No, Esper and Soundwave are in there.
Oh, Soundwave was in there too?
Yeah.
I would certainly watch that, Arthur, if I was live.
Okay.
I would. I would try. I don't have one monitor though, but I would be interested in seeing what Rad is drawing. 'cause I quite like Rad's art style. In
I'm
his
glad.
character art,
Very
definitely.
flattered.
Your overlays are a
Thank
bit just gradient tool. But,
Yes, they are. They are. Absolutely.
Okay. To describe Sid Alpha as a eatable monster, his recipe would be called
edible.
Yes, all of the monsters are edible. You're
So
supposed to be
people
able
are
to
saying
kill
they
them.
want to eat me.
Yes, all of the monsters in Food Dungeon are part of a complex ecosystem. Every level, if you just run through and kill everything, all of the food supply for like you'll get a big bounty then, but in a week when everyone's like the town of thousands of people are starving, I hope you got something left there, and you go back in and you're just like, nope, everything's dead. Then you're fucked. So all of the monsters are eatable and come with their own recipe. Although I'm hoping that with the new D&D cooking supplement that's coming out by Antonio, we're gonna get some good stuff. So it's called Sweet and Sour Devil Dog Buns. It's a two-headed undead mecha wolf type thing. That's what I'm looking at here, with white and black tail. Its butt looks like it's also black. I think it's supposed to be a play on that Sid Alpha logo. The ingredient list is devil dog fillet, wild garlic, rice wine, red onions, cherry vinegar, honey, and sesame seed bun. I mean, we're talking premium, high quality steak burger right there. Dice that garlic up, dice up those red onions, talking. Put them on top of that devil dog fillet, sweet and sour. Maybe put a pickle on the side. Sid Alpha, you sound delicious. As a monster in D&D. Look, we got the coffin tail.
I'm
we
not
got
sure
the
how I feel about
Alther.
this recipe.
Do what?
I'm not sure how I feel about this recipe.
Look, you were a
It doesn't
classic steak
feel-
burger recipe.
It doesn't feel gourmet enough to me.
I see.
Ooh.
Not gourmet enough?
Yeah, steak burger. Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
All right. Look, I'll come up with my own recipe then. But like, how gourmet are we talking? We talking about those chef original videos I've been posting recently, where they take 8 sticks of butter and they surround an entire chicken. They encase it in the butter. Then the butter melts off to cook 3 cups of rice in a pan. Like,
I
how
think it needs
gourmet
to
are
be
we talking here? Are we talking
gourmet enough that you need a sommelier to pick your wine to go with it.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're talking like sit down meal.
Talking like
where you need
Michelin
at least a
2-star
button-down
minimum.
shirt and no jeans.
Michelin 2-star minimum.
Michelin 2-star minimum. Jesus.
But it's
I've
also
never
the sort of
even
meal
eaten
where
at
you
a
have a
Michelin
giant
2-star.
plate
I don't know how to
and
do
a tiny
this,
bit
man.
of food.
Okay.
I have.
All right. That's great for you, but I don't know how to make recipes for a Michelin 2-star. All right. I guess I'm just
It
going
wants
to
to
have
be
to
so
learn.
fancy that they have to put sauce on the plate. Please, putting sauce on the plate is so pedestrian.
Yeah, I was going to say that's pretty basic.
It's pretty much just smaller versions of the same meal with mango juice sprayed over the top.
Yeah.
Just drizzle something on there. You're good.
Yes, Esper.
That's worth a star right there.
Dungeon Meshi was the inspiration for this entire thing. Absolutely, 100%. Been working on this project for almost 2 years now. This is the Mistborn of the modern era. We've completed discussion topic 1, Ratosaurus and the overlay. I actually don't have a second discussion topic. This is an open floor. Feel free to
Listen,
explode a space. Toss out
Even
whatever you
though
want.
even though what James said is totally true, and my overlays are very gradient tool, I'm a little hurt anyway. The truth has hurt me. James has pointed out a hurtful truth, and that's that my overlays are not cool.
Oh my God, Red! What do I need to beat
No,
you to
but
death with?
listen, I'm not actually
Jesus.
hurt. I made them that way on purpose because Arthur expressed to me that he liked a clean, simple look. So that's the attempt anyway, at a clean, simple look.
To function before form.
Yeah, listen. Nothing I make thrills Arthur,
I prefer
so I don't
to
even
take
know why
function
I try at this
and
point.
form. Put those together.
I was like, Arthur, how do you like this new overlay and the art integration and how great it is? And he's like, nah, I'll sleep on it.
I feel like the overlay isn't
What
gourmet
do
enough.
you want from me? Listen, Rad. All right. You know what? I probably could have been more. Two things to follow up with. You're absolutely correct that I do like simple and clean, but I want to point out that is also the name of the ending song from Kingdom Hearts. So you really can't go better than that. Excellent soundtrack. Number 2, I definitely should have been more positive, but I don't know how to be with you, Rad. Because when I'm like, Rad, this is
You can't.
fucking
I've
amazing,
ruined
it's
it.
incredible. You're like,
Yeah.
that doesn't sound genuine to me. And I'm like, what do I need?
Yeah,
I'm
the
not
moment-
cottontailed. What do I
See,
need?
Arthur, you just need to change your entire personality so something
I
like that would
understand.
be believable.
The
think
moment
from
I
now
pointed
on-
out how unenthusiastic you were, I doomed any chance you ever had of being sincere to me.
I'll tell you, Rad. I literally been went to the gym and spent all day picking up medication and
Mhm.
driving. And then I got home, downloaded all of your stuff, threw it on the overhead, and was like, oh my god, I'm finally done. I'm gonna make a video for Rad, and then I'm gonna go do literally anything. And Rad was like, I want to get your feedback on this. And I was like, it looks fine. And he, okay. And he's
Yeah.
like, go, Arthur, go. You
I
hurt me
distinctly
so
got
badly.
the
And I'm like,
impression-
okay, calm down.
I distinctly got the impression it's like Arthur does not have time for your shit. Rad.
Today, I'm sorry, Rad. Today, I did not have time for your shit.
No, I don't hold you against that. That's no problem whatsoever. Yeah, I did. I was obnoxious, and I'll be honest. I kind of knew I was being obnoxious as I was doing it. Yesterday, you told me you're like, I have a long day tomorrow, and I'm like, oh yeah, no problem. I'll just bother you all day with this insignificant thing that doesn't even really need to be
I mean,
done.
it's not insignificant. It's a thing that you wanted to have happen, and I had it ready in time for the show, which was
And I
all I
appreciate
wanted.
that.
And then I retreated away from there.
Well, listen, when I remake the whole thing, you have another chance. Okay.
Did you
Um,
see the video of the orange text before I?
Yes.
Okay.
And that was my intent, was for it to be orange. I just never told you that up front.
I gotta
So,
tell you, I feel
I
like
like
it
it
doesn't
orange.
look as good as the white.
what I'm
I
going to
think
do
at
is
the
I'm going to
edges it's harder to read. Like,
at the edges, really.
yeah, I think towards the beginning and ends of names it's harder to read. It clashes with the coloring. So I think in the center it looks good.
Listen, I
Just drop
agree.
a stroke on the text. It'll be fine.
I was going to darken up those nameplates so that the orange would look better. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm with you there.
I
I'm
concur.
100% with you.
Sure.
Well, I mean, the nameplates are
Bratosaurus,
going to.
I can't wait to see how amazing it will look when you've done that. I am thrilled and excited. What perfection
Dude,
will you
you
create?
don't
A
even know.
simple and clean.
I'm going to use so many gradients. It's going to blow your
I was
mind.
gonna
Okay.
say, I feel like you're gonna use less gradients, but now you're like,
Radial gradients, mate. Radial.
Yeah, radial gradients. Oh my god.
I feel like James has
I got a
come
cramp.
on your Gordon
God.
Ramsay cooking show, and now you're like, Gordon Ramsay told me not to pepper the steak. There's gonna be a fucking visible layer of pepper on the top of the steak. Okay, I'm gonna show Gordon Ramsay wrong.
I'm about to teach you that there's more types of pepper than you ever even thought possible.
Rainbow peppercorn, bitch.
Yeah. Oh man, my thigh just cramped up.
Oh,
That
person in
sucks.
chat is talking about 99% of participants only lurk. I ran a test on my
agree with that.
Discord a while ago, and Rachel was cleaning up her Discord from dead accounts and stuff. So I'm like, I'm gonna try something here. So I posted announcements. Okay, if anyone hasn't interacted within the last 3 months, those accounts are gonna get deleted. So I know there's some lurkers here. If you don't want to get deleted, go ahead and just say hi in chat in general real quick, and you'll be fine. And then holy shit, there was like a flood going on for hours of people just going, I don't want to get deleted.
Press F to delurk.
Why would you? See, here's my question. Why does any of that matter? I don't
Hundreds
even
of people.
know who's on my Discord anymore. My Discord list has gotten very long.
Well, the main thing is to clean up and kick out alt accounts from dirty devs that have come in to try and screw me around Discord and all sorts of stuff like that.
That's true. And you know what? I did institute the cotton moderation policy just to stop alt accounters. All right, I understand.
Oh, I do have a hard line policy against alt accounts, to try and bypass bans and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a flood, never-ending flood for hours.
It's literally been
lurkers
months
just
since I
coming
thought
out.
about what was his name? Was it Hyrule Spy?
He's still out there. by
God,
the
I
way.
hadn't even
Yeah.
thought of him in months, maybe even a year. But when he came back with his alt account, and everyone was like, "That's 100% Hyrule." Like,
Mhm.
And then I asked him, he was like, "Yeah, I'm high roll, but I don't want to get rebanned." And I was like, "I don't care. I banned you in the first place. I'm just gonna ban you again." He's like, "Well, I was honest about it." And I was like, "I'm banned."
Honest about this ban.
Drop
So I got a
on the
topic.
heads.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Right. That's I tried to bring this up before we got started. And I was told to wait till the show. So
That's
I
right.
want
Yes,
to talk about
please.
because we're on Battletech, right? And one of the ideas we mooted about this today, what we're to do, and Brad said, "Hey, we should play just a game of Battletech. You know, not part of the RPG, just a game." And of course, that was too hard to get organized. That's why Arthur is, I'm sure, right now building a map in Tabletop Simulator for a
No,
future.
I left the
such
map
battle.
open. And I made Sid Alpha a moderator. And
I tried to
then
join
I
and
just
got bounced
noticed
out.
when you mentioned it, nothing has happened.
Okay.
I've made Rad a moderator. No one has done anything, James.
Okay, no worries. But I want to talk about one of my favorite Battletech battles I've got from, because they used to publish all these old scenario books that were like just a whole bunch of battles in a storyline, and it's sort of like, it's almost like historical reenactment people where the battle actually resolved this way, but maybe you can play it and try and do it differently. So I dug out the More Tales from the Black Widow, published in 1990, and it's got this really interesting battle called Defenders of the Flag. So let me run this by you as a battle for Battletech. So the exact circumstances are that the not the Wolf Dragoons, the Wolf Guard. The Wolf Guard are attacking the world of Satellus under the command of Natasha Kerensky, and they have sort of got like a day where they're just cooling their boots when a group of defenders of the planet decide they're going to take them on. But this group of defenders is 3 lancers of training mechs that decide they're going to take on the clans. So I'll tell you the battle setup, all right? So the defender in the battle is the 13th Wolf Guard. So you've got Kerensky's custom Daishi, the Widowmaker, Mad Cat C, Mad Cat B, Fenris Prime, Koshi B. Second star is
Koshi.
Blackhawk Prime, Dragonhawk A, Thor A, Puma Prime, Fenris Prime. And all the pilots are 1-2 pilots, except for Kerensky, who's a 0-0, and 1 new recruit who's a 4-5. So that's the defenders. All right. Now we've got the attackers, all right. So the attackers are 3 lancers. Each lance is so there's a Phoenix Hawk and 3 chameleons, a Stinger and 3 chameleons, and a Locust and 3 chameleons. Now, if you're not familiar with the chameleon, it's because it wasn't actually around in 3052 when this was set. This is a different mech, which is a training mech that is equipped. It's 50 tons still, but it's equipped with a large laser, 2 mediums, 4 smalls, and 2 machine guns. But it's only got 10 heat sinks, and because it's in training mode, you cannot build more than 10 heat in a turn. And all the pilots are 5-6 pilots, except for the leaders who are 4-5. So they're the attackers, and you've got the 2 stars of defenders. And now the victory condition is if they destroy only 1 clan mech, it's a draw. If they destroy 2 or more clan mechs, it's a win for the attackers.
I gotta
So
tell
really,
you, that Koshi is gonna just hide it in the back of the map.
So it's a really sort of horribly asymmetrical fight where you've got literally 12 mechs trying to kill even 2 mechs or 1 mech to pull a draw, yet they are so undergunned, under-equipped, and they're taking on 1-2 pilots in heavy and assault mechs. Thoughts?
So it's a historical battle. What
It's historical.
actually happened in history?
It was a slaughter. There were none of the Wolf Guards lost their mechs.
I mean, yeah,
There are no survivors.
I mean, that's how it goes, right? Victor Steiner, Davian, Prince O'Hero, they never lose. Gosh, wow. How could you bring a Koshi to a battlefield like that? It's literally the most. It's like that game of Alpha Strike that we played, where afterwards you were like, if you had just reserved one of your mechs in the back so it couldn't have been destroyed, you might have won. And I was like, holy shit, I didn't even think about that. You were right. If I had just stopped fighting, I would have won.
I don't know. That actually really sounds like a scenario I'd be interested in playing. Well, just to see if we could bring down 2 mechs.
Listen, I've said after season 6, I'd be interested in all of you guys running scenarios for the whole group. Maybe do those Comstar packs for the new Battle of Tukid stuff.
May is coming up.
Can you defeat the clans?
May is coming up. May the 20th.
What happens? May
It's Battle of
20th?
Tukid Day.
Oh, okay. You nerd.
Well, let me tell you something, Sid Alpha. March the 20th is coming up, and that's Animal Crossing Day, so you won't hear from me again after that. I've never played Animal Crossing before,
I've never
but
played
I'm
Animal
100% fucking invested in this game.
They actually did.
People are so excited about it, and I want to be excited about things too. Okay? I've been so
Then play the
disappointed
game.
lately with everything.
Listen,
Play the
after
game.
Battletech is over, I'm just going to try to slide my way into the other Battletech show.
You already have. You were like, "Can I play
It's
villain?"
true. Yeah, I have.
I was like,
Well,
I hadn't
tell-
even thought of doing guest spots yet, but sure. And then someone else is like, I would like to guest on this show.
Oh, really?
Now we're getting offers left and right. I think James said something like, man, I really want to be on that.
Yeah, right?
This is what day of the week is this on?
But
Sundays.
Oath of Endestill is Sunday from 3 to
Sundays.
5 Eastern.
Because I know, did every single one of them choose the enemy trait?
Yes.
Okay, we need to talk more about that. Is what we need to do, okay? I think me and Sid and James need to be all three of their enemies, and we need to all come in on the same show. It'll be one of your largest shows ever, and it'll be a 3v3. That's what I want to do. That's what I need to see.
A
I would be
7-person
down for
show
this.
would match the old Pathfinder games I used to stream. Yeah.
I would be
Make it
down
happen.
for this.
Let's do it. Let's pick a Sunday.
Look, I got to tell you, I really want to have 4 guest stars for this show, A Time of Total Warfare this season, and
do
then
a
have the
4-on-4?
last episode of the year of this season be all 4 guests, all 4 players versus a Lance of 5 or a star of Steel Viper mix. So
Listen, here's what we do, okay? We have to piss off Harbinger so Gleemo can come back as a villain. Okay. We have to find a way for his character to want to team up with Citadel's daughter.
Medusa, yeah.
And then we need to find a way for the clans to pay off Eric's character so that he could come after us too.
They will never do that, but okay.
And then we get English to come back
Why do you want to have the guests fight you?
so that they all try to kill us. And it's 4
Is
versus
this just
4.
something you want to do? Is just face down against another player group?
Kind of now, yeah.
Okay,
I want
all
some-
right. I'll think about it.
Well, let's see. We could probably manage this. Let's see. Piss off Harbinger. Well, we already know how Bandito feels about Word of Blake.
Word of Blake. Yeah.
So
I mean, I
that
think
should
you've
be
already said
pretty
the
easy
answer.
to accomplish.
You answered all of the questions by just saying the word bandito. That's how you make everyone mad at us.
Yeah.
And you know,
We'll just have him handle the
Look,
negotiations.
Just,
Yeah,
I
burn
just
all
want
the
to
bridges.
remind you what happened last time. James was the bad guys. Okay, he killed all of my vehicles. I was like, "Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna send my vehicles ahead. They can move really fast. I'm just gonna get really high movement markers on them and keep them in cover." And then they just exploded
and
one after
somebody
another.
just turned it into a turkey shoot.
Hey, and I'll say this. I was very sad to only have like shitty little 1 movement infantry left at the end of the game, but it let you guys get close enough to shoot back.
This is true.
So many died.
It's like when you run a battle. It's like you can have the dragon go after the wizard the whole time, but it's going to suck for the wizard player.
Yeah.
You know, so
we need to get Henley to come back. That's the other person.
Yeah.
Okay. We get Henley, English, James, and Gleemo
Missed Eric.
versus
and Eric.
and
Just
Eric
make a 5-person
and,
enemy
and
star.
Eric to be
Yeah.
a star, and then
Uh-huh.
you be on our team, and it'll be 5 versus 5. It'll be a 10-person show, largest ever. We'll set the record. It'll be like 4 episodes
What would
long.
the overlay even look like at that point?
Itty bitty tiny boxes, right? Like,
Itty bitty tiny boxes and just
We'll do-
just
look.
little stripes separating. The,
we'll find a Saturday, and we'll just stream for like 8 hours.
I'll think about it.
and
do it.
Zoom can handle up to a
Hundreds.
couple hundred.
Yeah, no
I'm
problem.
not worried about Zoom. I'm worried about us.
Get on Discord.
I can't wait for these
Viewers
2-hour turns.
and peer pressure Arthur. No, we're good enough at the game at this point where we could make them like 45-minute long turns.
I don't know that all the guests are that good at the game.
No, I'm probably not.
I'm pretty terrible.
I was gonna say if the enemy team had James on it, they would just be like instantaneous turrets. You just have everyone's moves.
Yeah,
written down ahead of time.
if the enemy team had James on it, it'd be like, you know, Saturday nights where you need to roll 4 up.
Oh,
Just run
right.
another Isekai collision, and we'll go back in time and fight those guys from
No,
that other show.
there's
How
no
about
more
that?
isekais. We're not doing that anymore. It's canceled forever.
Okay.
It's like Maid RPG. I'm never doing it again.
Yeah, but if you do another Isekai collision, I could bring back damn
You're lesbian?
my mech dude.
Oh.
Can't even remember his name now.
I don't know who you're talking about. There's so many.
From the second Winter's Edge.
Oh, Lord
Tithus.
Tithus.
Yeah,
Lord Tithus. Oh my god.
that was fun.
Oh my god. The guy who poisoned thousands of people and then was successfully lied to the party repeatedly
Multiple
about it.
times. It was like 4
Incredible
or 5
level
times they
rolls.
tried to catch me out in a lie. And half the time it was nat 20s.
I was gonna say
Deception
they were
check.
all characters who were quite skilled at picking up on lying. That's what made it so weird.
So Esper Chan's got a suggestion in chat to do Maid RPG with the Battletech lance.
Nope.
I'm
That
sorry.
was shut down quickly.
I don't want to break hearts, but I don't think I'll ever play Maid RPG.
I concur with you now, Radisaurus. 100%.
It's just not in my lane, I don't think.
I played it so much.
Just don't play it with Cotton, because she'll win.
Ooh,
She'll win.
wow. She's the
She'll win.
3-time champion.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was a competitive thing.
She just
never
stealth
lost.
she stealth cruises under everything.
It's like Survivor. You're working together until you're not.
Yes. Cotton ends up going so far out ahead of everybody that there's no point in opposing her.
Sounds right.
And meanwhile, you have everyone else going
Fighting
hard
each
at
other. That's
each
right.
other.
Cotton never revenge
just
plays and
furthers
she
her
never
lead.
counterattacks. So all she does is be like, let's be friends. And everyone's like, shit. All right, fine. We'll be friends. But I'm going to fight everybody else.
See, the reason why is because it's Cotton, and nobody wants to not be friends with Cotton because
Hey,
she's
listen.
such an awesome person.
I don't know if you watched Twilight Imperium, but Cotton betrayed me and tried to murder me and steal my homeworlds.
Really?
Yeah, it was a
I need to watch
savage move.
this
It was
now.
savage punishment. She was reading off a script that Pondo sent her, though.
Oh.
Pondo was like, I'm going to write how this war is going to go for you. And she's like, okay, I'll do it. That was a great moment.
To jump back,
Yeah.
I do like the idea of the super asymmetrical fight, right? Like the you're not supposed to win, so let's just see how long you can not die.
Can
kind
you
of situation.
actually do enough damage to make
Right.
it worthwhile?
Yeah,
I gotta tell you, I ran that in Warhammer 40k, and the audience was not supportive, and the players were like, "We're all gonna die!"
It's like, yes, that's the point.
correct.
Except for James, who was just like, "I'm gonna hide in this artillery vehicle, and I'm gonna pop out of it after it's absorbed all the shots." Or it was a transport with the artillery shooting at it. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was the Wave Serpent. Yeah.
Yep, fuck that wave serpent. It ate so many goddamn shots. I don't know, James. Yeah, I feel like that battle was not popular among the cast, but it sounds like Rad wants his punishment. Let me try to sell you on something else, Rad. What about a what do they call them? Like an endless battle, horde mode?
Oh yeah, like a.
Like a meat grinder.
Oh yeah, like Meat Grinder. Every time you kill a mech, it restarts at the edge of the map, coming back towards you again, and you just see how long you can survive, how long your ammo and armor holds
That's
out.
the Battletech grinder rules basically.
I didn't even know those existed.
So it's done for cons where it's every man for himself, and everyone starts with a light mech, and as soon as your light mech's destroyed, you come back with a medium mech. When your medium mech's destroyed, you come back with a heavy, etc. to assault. So if
No,
you
I would want to do this with Rad and like the King Crab or his custom Centurion. Yeah. See how long it can hold
To
out
just
on a
keep
real
throwing like
battlefield.
light mechs at me or something.
No, keep throwing like a mixed lance of mechs at you, different weights together, but every time it dies, the same model respawns at the edge of the battlefield and runs back towards you.
Just see how long.
Yeah.
I'd be into that.
Rad is just like, I've had my hands inside the fusion cores of so many mechs now. I don't even know which side of the battlefield I'm on. I've tasted the blood of so much coolant. Who am I anymore?
What does this even mean?
So let me ask that question to both the cast and the audience here as well, because you referenced battles that people don't necessarily enjoy, and the whole thing is that um, people like watching sport, for example, and you don't like watching your team win. Sorry, lose, but
Yes.
you still watch sport, on the hope that they will. You don't say, well, they
Win.
could lose
You
this
mean
game.
hope that they win, right?
Yeah, that's right. But some people do tune out out of a game when they feel like their side's not going to win. I used to go to live sports, and you see people get up and leaving 10 minutes before the innings. They're not going to win, and they want to try and beat the traffic out of there. Likewise, when you're playing any battle in any role playing game, there's this sort of fine balance between this is so ridiculously easy that we're not actually even challenged, and this is so hard we constantly think we're going to lose. And finding that sort of balance right in the middle is actually quite hard. And so many of the battles, it's like it's tense during the battle, both in Battletech and in Warhammer. Like I've watched enough of this show, and that my team are the PCs most of the time. And so you want the PCs to win, and it being an RPG, generally speaking, they will. But every now and again, you go, "Wow, Arthur's made this really hard, and this is really really tough for these guys." But they always pull through in the end. So do people actually really get that bothered during the shows that this seems like a hard battle, or this seems like they shouldn't win, or
Yes,
I
there
don't know.
was a outstanding comment from someone that was just like, Arthur is trying to kill the player characters. He always throws a crit, and I was just like, wow, it's so weird how they always survive despite all that. And completely went over their head.
I definitely agree, though. I don't know. I get stressed out during our battle sometimes when I feel like Arthur has presented us with an unwinnable situation. But you're right, and I don't know if that's
I don't think it's unwinnable. I think it just seems unwinnable.
sure. And I don't know if it's a symptom of the encounters that we play in our group, or if it's a symptom of the BattleTech system as a whole, and how hard it can swing, and how difficult it is to draw that line. Because I do feel like every battle we fight is tends to fall on one side of the line or the other, right? Like, and even if it does seem insurmountable, there's a point during that battle where the dice fall a certain way or whatever, and it swings entirely, and then it's an easy fight that's almost not fun, because it's like 4 turns of like mop up, because you had one turn where you fucking blew up one mech and blew a leg off another, and now all of a sudden it's a completely different fight that you're in. And like, what was the one we just recently did with Glimo, right? Where it was our mechs versus a bunch of light mechs, and that felt just like a stomping. Like, I don't know that other side had a chance at all, and maybe they weren't intended to.
I don't know. I gotta be honest. I feel like
those
any
light mechs
hit anywhere, when you're talking about 15 damage weapons, right? Any head hit is going to be an instant kill.
Right.
But it just, the damage that they were putting out was not enough to fully destroy any one mech. But I think looking at the sheets, both Pondo and Glimo walked off with skeletons, essentially. They were both quite close to being blown up. And my dice were not good during that battle. I missed a lot of critical shots by, like trying to hit 8 or 9s. And it just didn't happen.
Yeah,
if you thought it was a stomp, I disagree. But I do think that in the second half of the battle, you guys absolutely had the upper hand. Like, the opening moves were crucial, and you guys completely destroyed them during that.
And I do definitely understand that. I mean, I guess it's, that's very dependent on player perspective, right? Like, I didn't get shot once. So, of course, I felt a certain kind of way about that fight compared to, Pondo or Glimo, for example, that got hammered the whole time. So I get that, like, that's a player-to-player situation. I have some fights that are very stressful to me that probably aren't at all stressful to somebody like, Cotton or Sid, who are standing back doing indirect fire, or whatever. Like, I'm sure it varies a lot from player to player, but
it's always stressful for me because the battles typically are very balanced and usually either only slightly in our favor or slightly in the other side's favor. And because of that, there is a very real risk that we could just get raffle stomped into the dirt with either good rolls or bad rolls on either side. But that I do enjoy that a lot of the time, that there is a very real chance that we could lose this fight every single time we go into one of those combats. And, a lot of, YouTube commenters are like, he's trying to kill the party. No, well, yes, he is, but he's being fair about it, and he's making sure that it's an interesting combat where there is actually something on the line. We do stand a chance of losing, and we have to rely on teamwork and careful thought and tactics to be able to see us through.
Absolutely.
We can't just slapdash it and walk through and expect it to be interesting.
I want to read the comment I was talking about real quick. It's from 4 months ago, so it took me this entire conversation to scroll back that far. And let me tell you something. Esper in chat has left hundreds of comments in the last month. That was what was taking so long. So has anyone told Arthur that battle value is how you match up engagements? As a clan player, he should have at most had a single star in the field. Certainly not a star on 4 points of elementals. No wonder the party is always one roll from death until the dice betray him. My response was, you don't feel a sense of dramatic tension, a surge for the appreciation of the player skills as they continue to just barely survive over and over again, and you think the game master has no part in orchestrating that. Interesting. And the reply I got from someone else was, yes, AP is definitely a more adversarial GM than I am. You know what? People
they
can
don't even know at all
opinions.
The conversations that go on behind the scenes where Arthur's like, are you guys okay with this? Like,
right.
Adversarial, no, not in the least bit. Arthur is
I'm an antagonist.
A player.
I'm not allowed to antagonize.
Yeah, he's a player right along with the rest of us.
Oh, am I? Oh, we're not on Okeanos rules anymore. Okay.
We're not on Okeanos rules, no.
I mean, the other thing is that this is a game that has an audience too. So I've played plenty of RPGs where no combats happen, where we manage to talk out of every situation, and people still enjoy that. But it's people are coming onto this show to watch Battletech. So there's going to be some Battletech. And unlike a game of D&D where you can fit in 4 battles in a session and each one gets progressively harder and you're using the same resources, you have enough for 1 battle in 2 episodes. So that whole battle is really from completely resourced to almost 1 hit point, basically equivalent. So I think that it's part of the show and the format that's got to work that way. And as I said, I'm during the battle, I'm going, no, curse that head hit taking out that important mech, But at the end of the battle, once it's all done, it's like, well, that was actually really good. I really enjoyed that, and I never see that problem during the session though. So
this has been good for me to hear, but I'm always going to get comments along that line.
Well, sure.
Haters going to hate.
They are.
I don't know. I just here's the thing. No one wants to see how the sausage gets made. And it feels weird for me to discuss this specifically because I feel like it takes some of the magic away to both the players and the audience to just be like, yes, I perfectly balance all of these battles to the best of my ability, which is not always, possible. And it's really hard to make things dramatically tense when everything is based off of random rolls. And sometimes I just get really screwed, or sometimes Sid backs his Black Knight into a cliff and then he's stuck alone for the whole battle, and then the whole lance is split apart, and it's just one Jade Falcon mech chasing around one player mech for the rest of the battle.
I loved that mech.
2 guys clobbering each other when they have no armor.
Poor Black Knight. Yeah, it's been interesting, the stream of negativity. I did at one point during this show, I don't remember, it was a couple seasons ago, I started to let it to affect me, and I just kind of stopped reading chat and comments and stuff for a while. But
I recall that happening.
It's been interesting, right? Like we went from a place early where we were all idiot players and didn't ever make great decisions, and all of our role-playing decisions were dumb or bad, or and then on the battlefield we were bad. Why didn't we do this? Why didn't we do that? And you don't understand this rule. You could have just done this. And like,
I think most of those people have left though.
I think so too. I don't think those people stick around in general for very long. But then what's been so funny is as we've gotten much better at players, instead of people being like, you guys are so good at this game, instead they're like, Arthur doesn't know how to run this game. Like,
that's true.
Like we went from these people are bad at this game to this person is bad at running this game. We never switched. Nobody was ever like, man, despite the fact that Arthur makes like really slanted, difficult battles, these players somehow miraculously come out on top over and over and over and over again. And I mean, Sid and I, and we've all played games with Arthur for a really long time now, so we know Arthur is not the type of DM to pull punches. So like, if the dice said we were gonna die, we were gonna die. So I have to believe that at some point during the show, we as players started doing things right and better. But nobody ever talks about that. They're just like,
Listen,
Arthur can't do it right.
To be had there. It's just now instead of the players suck, it's Arthur doesn't know how to run.
Right. Like, it's so much easier to criticize. And sometimes it's constructive criticism. Don't get me wrong. It's not always has a negative connotation, but it's so easier to come up with critiques than it is to come up with
like a disappointed customer tells 10 people.
Right. It's just
happy
human
customer
nature.
tells 3. Yeah.
It's you absolutely can't beat it. So I don't know. That's amusing to me.
I want to say this. For me, I remember a lot of negative times for streams and try to do better than that. I don't remember times that people are like, that was great. I'm like, I don't remember that happening. I remember this happening. I will always remember Pondo and Sid. I think it was the season 3 intro battle. They were both ejected and on a hill, completely separated from the rest of the party.
People were chasing them with guns.
And I was like, the pilot pulls out an SMG and starts spraying it down. It says like, oh shit, this is happening. You're really gonna kill us. And I was like, yes, I finally got you out of your mech on foot where you are weak and helpless. And then I missed.
Yeah.
And they gunned him down real bad. They shot him to death. Yeah,
It's
chat
like,
knows
hang
what
on,
I'm talking about.
I have a sniper rifle on me.
He was
Tables
super
have
dead.
churned. Mercenary. Wait, was it a mercenary or was it a clanner?
No, it was a clanner. It was the clan star with the elemental pack at the start of
Oh,
season
right,
2.
right. I
You
remember
know,
I was doing really good. I was doing really good in that fight too until I got shot.
I
out
think
by a
everybody did really good that fight.
I think
stood still and turned at people.
I was
for a
one of the
while.
first times I think where I actually ended up doing really well in the game.
I think that was the fight where I introduced the other Baron. And everyone was like, Baron Kirsch, he's so goofy and useless.
Both true statements.
Yeah, I think most of the negative commentary we got was not during chat during the stream, or at the very least it hasn't been for a very long time. We would get it on YouTube comments or on the Discord. People would just be like, this was done wrong. The party is bad. And I was just
Give
like,
us a page number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Wait,
where
no,
I started the page number. Yeah, I was like, fuck you guys. Give me a page number reference. That's all I'm asking.
Right.
They were
So,
like,
so
in
no,
my
I-
home game, we do this. And I was like, well, this is my home game, bitch.
And a lot of it it's people, so much of humanity is bad at communicating, but it stems from people just being passionate about something, right? It comes from their love of Battletech and wanting to see it look like they have always imagined and loved it. And they're, it's emotional for them to see somebody do it wrong and like, I get that. I understand, but, and I, as a professional communicator with a degree in communication, I understand that most people are shit at communicating. Like that's just a part of, I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes we just say,
human condition.
Sometimes
right? Like,
you work for days in order to make a perfect overlay, and the person you deliver it to just goes, okay.
All right.
I need time to process this utter garbage, and that this is now my life, that I have to sit and look at this
That's not
shit
even
overlay
close
on
to
my
what I
own
meant.
show. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you want to see a shit overlay. You should see the overlay. Remember the overlay I did for Arthur for Winter's Edge?
Oh.
It was so bad. I was
but
like,
yeah, I don't
like,
know.
I want to do something here, and I did not know dick about Photoshop at that time.
Overlays
That's
are tough,
just-
man. That's why I prefer, like, if you got to put something together quick, just a black screen with nameplates is going to work out better than trying to slap
Yeah,
into...
look, Brad, I can't do better than that. I'd be doing gradients too. I just put a lens flare in as well. That's all.
Yeah, lens flare, dude.
Get those filters out.
The Michael
When I was
Bay
first
of
learning how to
Photoshop.
use Photoshop back in like high school, that was my go-to. Man, let's just throw some lens flares on this bad boy. Fucking best rendering effect ever. Everything. Instant masterpiece. Yeah. I
Yeah,
would have.
now I'm sitting here thinking, I could probably use Adobe After Effects to create an HTML5
Nope.
overlay.
Gotta stop, Sid. You have to stop.
I still have ambitions of being able to do animated overlays. I don't have that kind of time. And
Well,
I
if you look
probably
at like
won't,
what
but
role playing stuff uses, all they are is just little
Like WebM files and stuff like that that
Yeah,
are loaded on the JP server.
short little 2 and 3 second WebM files.
yeah.
That's it.
But
I'm trying to work out how to do the animated models in TTS as well. They've been
I
pretty
know
cool.
I've wanted to do that for a long time. Back when I was a stay-at-home dad, I would have had time to mess with that stuff, but I don't foresee me being able to fiddle with that anytime soon. What was I gonna say? Oh, so yeah, like I was saying, people are passionate about it, and I get it because I tried to watch. What did I try to watch?
Death from Above.
It was it was a Star Wars show. It was either JP or what's his buddy Jesse
Cox.
Yeah, it was running
Jesse Cox runs it for JP.
Eternity of
It was on
something.
Echoes of Eternity.
Yeah. I got maybe an episode in it because it also had Anna Prosser in it, right? Which I like. So I was like, maybe this will be good, right?
I believe it also had who's the
it's an ongoing show.
Yes.
I don't want to talk about it like it's in the past, but I liked it for the most part, but I also like I had that same kind of twinge that these Battletech nerds get when they watch us play the game, and I'm like, Jesse doesn't know how to play this game well enough, or he's not playing it like I would play it. Like he's interpreting dice different from how I would interpret them, or he's letting them use like charm when he should be making, you know what I mean? Like I had that same kind of like that little that ball in my chest that was like, I don't like this. It's not. I wouldn't do it that way.
James had that for all of the last episode of Warhammer 40K.
So like I could
see when he was like, "That's not quite how that works."
But you know what I didn't do is I didn't get on the YouTube comment section and write 5 or 6 paragraphs about how he was shit at the game or or whatever.
Look, I found this channel through the Battletech game originally because I was looking to run a Battletech game and I want to see if people do online. Found this one, and my first comment on the YouTube channel was, yes, a rules correction with a page reference, but I also started by saying, love the show, love what you're doing.
Right.
And by that point in time, you guys were requesting people to say, if there's something wrong, let us know.
That was a disclaimer, like at the beginning of every episode.
Like standing on top of SRM carriers. That would have been handy knowledge to have.
Right.
Speaking of which, SRM-topia is still going to happen. Just to be clear, when you're out of clan space, it's just going to be nothing but SRM carriers everywhere. You turn a corner, SRM carrier!
Well,
I just want to get one solid alpha strike of an SRM carrier off one time.
Whenever we're getting ready for the next
PPC
season,
boats.
and we're picking out like what our mechs are going to be for the next season, I'm just going to pick an SRM carrier. That's what I'm going to pilot.
Okay, so you're just going to pilot a Kintaro. Got it.
No, I'm like a track vehicle.
Be a tanker.
Yeah, going all in.
Because SRM carriers have notoriously light armor as well. They are really a glass cannon.
Yeah.
Speaking my language.
That's the best part about them in the Battletech video game is when they spawn right at the edge of a map and you're there too, and they get that instant one strike on you, and you're like, "You son of a bitch, prepare to die."
Yeah, they do. They pretty much die one hit in MechWarrior 5 as well. Am I still the only person who's played MechWarrior 5 out of interest?
No, I refused because of the
Epic
crap they
Games
pulled with the pre-orders.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with them.
I didn't play it.
Fuck Epic
It wasn't
Games.
for any
It wasn't even because of the Epic Games exclusive. It was because they deliberately misled people and lied about it for so long.
My interest in the game unfortunately timed out before I finished it. It really, I don't know if you've seen much about it, but it has a core storyline, but its gaining mechanism is you have like a reputation level, and you unlock each new mission for the campaign by reaching a certain rep level, and you get your rep up by doing procedurally generated missions and earning money and repairing mechs as such. And it can be quite a lot of missions to get up a rep level. And I've had it literally where the next step after going up a rep level was like a single conversation in a cutscene, and then now get to the next rep level after I just worked for 2 hours to get to that conversation, where it was just like We haven't found what we're looking for yet, but we're still looking. Off you go, do more missions.
Oh, we found them, by the way.
Yeah, pretty much. So
Yeah.
look, I mean, the mechanic's good, but it's grindy. It's very grindy.
I was excited to play it, sort of, but I don't pre-order things. I don't buy them like when they first come out. I'm a very patient consumer when it comes to video games. So I did not play it because of any of the ethical or moral reasons, which people are very justified for having. But yeah, I just saw what people were saying when it came out and that it was underwhelming, and that's basically why I never picked it up. But which was a shame because I was really looking forward to it. I mean, there's a lot of nostalgia in that for me. I was never a big Battletech like reader or tabletop player, but I did play, of course, all the video games, and I loved them to death.
MechWarrior 2 Mercenaries.
I might eventually
Let's
pick up
wrap up,
MechWarrior 5 when it's in the bargain bin, but because
It's
I have watched a lot of content on it, so I know a lot of the stuff that's in the game, and I'm actually glad I didn't. I refunded my pre-order because
I just want it to be good.
It would have been a waste of money,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Just want it to be good. Well said.
I went all in at the highest level in the Kickstarter.
Yeah, of course you did.
So you also
I
just
did
wanted
too.
it to be good.
I did too, and I was like, "No, give me my money back."
That's never bitten me before. Eternal Crusade. Sorry.
Oh my god. That
Still
was
waiting
was that
for-
the
I'm
MMO
still
that
waiting
they were
for
working
my,
on?
Yeah, there was a 40k memo. Yeah.
Listen, back when I used to watch It Made JP a lot, Stephen Lumpkin was their game master, and he had run
has
the
to be
game
blocked.
for Total Biscuit and JP. What was it called? It was just called Roleplay Dark Heresy. But
Mhm.
at some point, he was one of the creative leads for mapping.
He was the level designer.
Yeah, he
that's
was the
right,
level
for,
designer.
yeah, Eternal Crusade.
And he led his team through a stream of showing the level design, and it was like watching a game master try to railroad children. He was like, "Okay, guys, let's move to the next area," and everyone is like, "Wee! I'm using my jump jets. I haven't gotten to explore this part of the map. This is the one that I made. Look, I'm over here. I'm jumping up and down." He's like, "We're gonna move to the next area," and they're like, "Oh, look at all the orcs I'm killing! Wee!" And he's like, "Listen, there are 6 other people we gotta get to. Keep going." I could not believe adults were acting like this. It was insane. Oh, Eternal Crusade. It could have been great. It could have been great.
I mean, what was good about it was what was good about Space Marine. The multiplayer of Space Marine, I really, really enjoyed, and pretty much Eternal Crusade was just that. But that was all it was. I could just play Space Marine and have the same experience.
Which, one of the best things, one of the things I actually loved the most about like MechWarrior 4 and MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries was the MSN gaming zone and the league battles and stuff, and being able to hang out with a bunch of online friends and blow each other up and stuff. And if you want to do that with MechWarrior 5, you've got MechWarrior Online, which is already bad.
Well, it's its own thing.
It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's
It's good for
terrible
getting
with the
free
ghost
models of,
heat and the
mechs out.
quirks and all the other monetization bullshit they shove into it. It's crap. And I backed that thing at the highest backer level too when it was first.
Kind of
being
just regrets 101 here, huh?
made.
What did you back that you liked, Sid? What was a good game you backed? What were you thankful you backed?
I actually haven't backed very many games. I did. Most of the ones that I've actually backed haven't been finished yet.
You backed
Star
Harebrained
Citizen? Did
Schemes,
you back
Battletech?
Star Citizen?
Oh, I did back.
Sid back Star Citizen. Oh, wow. Why would you do this, James? Why would you
No.
open the forbidden jar? It says "Do not open" on the outside.
Although I was one of the people that got his golden ticket. I'm not even sure how or why. It just showed up in my email one day. I'm like, all right, what's this? Let's see. Things I did actually back Harebrained Schemes Battletech, and that ended up working out really well for me. I also backed Clan Invasion, so I'm waiting for all my figurines to show up. I bought that in like the $300 level. And
Did you see the new models they showed this week? The Crusader and the Marauder.
I did.
I know
They look
that
really
Rad
nice.
does not like that Marauder, but I love the look of the new Marauder.
I actually
because
like
I
it.
don't know.
I'm
It's
100%
just
behind
boxy.
Rad likes gradients, so what can I say?
That's right. I do. I need a nice conical gradient on that thing. Okay.
Let's see. I did actually back Angry Joe's board game.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a Street Fighter game or something like that. I can't remember. It was so many years ago. Apparently, that's still not done. Don't know.
Listen,
how
if you want to talk
difficult it is
about not done projects,
don't know how difficult it is to make a board game. But,
I got one for you. One of the first Kickstarter projects ever was Will Hindmarch's Project Dark. All right, it is still in development. The man has worked on like 7 other tabletop RPGs for other people. He checks in once a year and is like, I am the lowest of all worms. I grovel before you, backers. Here is my loathsome progress that I have completed this year. And I'm just like, God damn, dude, just release the fucking game already. You're testing it at conventions for the last 3 years. And he's like, we have to continue to make changes in the dark forges of our fortress mines. And I'm like, man, that heroin must be real good.
Wow.
I backed Good Society, the Jane Austen RPG, only because it's written by some Australian girls. I have zero interest in it, but I kickstarted it.
They made a Jane Austen RPG?
Yep, exactly.
Listen, I would play Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, the board game, 100%.
Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
You have to maintain both your level of firearms, excellence, and dating pedigree. You know.
Oh, good Lord. No, for the most part, I tend to avoid Kickstarters just because so many of them fall flat on their faces, or when they do come out, they're just absolute crap.
I'll tell you, a sure bet is to always back Cardinal Jimenez. What's his name? The guy who does Stars Without Numbers, because he always finishes the project before he puts it on Kickstarter, and then he just uses the Kickstarter money to do the stretch goals. So the base rules are completed.
I went to a Gen Con a few years ago, like a seminar on running a good Kickstarter, and there was a general consensus in like the conversation in the room that people are getting annoyed at companies just using Kickstarter to be a pre-order mechanism.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's being done by more and more professional companies, so that the small people who are looking to use it as a vehicle to get their project that wouldn't get up otherwise up are sort of being lost in the noise. But certainly, it was saying the most successful people on Kickstarter are the ones that already have a product that they're going to deliver regardless, but they just want Kickstarter to drive more for the product. I backed John Wick's 7th Sea, for example, and that was going to go to market regardless. But they were going to do more books, have more stuff if they got a good Kickstarter result, which they did. So
I did a review of that game. I thought they packed way too much shit in it. The base rules are great. All the extra shit is dumb.
I've only played it once at a con. I own the books, but I never actually run it.
I played it with Henley for several weeks. Let me tell you something. The Duelist rules are complete and utter bullshit. Duelist is like, everyone else in the game plays at like tortoise mode, and the Duelist plays at like rabbit with a jetpack. One Duelist can kill like 15 other players at the same time. He's just like, all right, I counterattack, then I parry your blow and attack again, and I counterattack and attack the other player, and that's my turn. 4 attacks. Okay, we're done. Now I wait for you to take your turn so I can parry and counterattack again. Duelist is so broken.
Oh, one other game I ended up backing was Chorus on Fig. And that was
this is the one that's been done by David Gator, is it?
Yeah.
Once again in Australia. There we go.
Yeah, it's an adventure musical, and it really fascinated me. And it's got a lot of people in the industry that I really enjoy and who've done fantastic work in the past. And so that
is that still open to backing? I didn't realize it was backable somewhere. I just heard about the project.
I don't know if it's still available for backing on. It's on Fig. I don't know
Yeah,
if they
it's-
have backing
the-
somewhere else or not, but they
yeah,
did.
it's
They
a
had a
game that claims to be the
$600,000
musicals.
goal, and they got 690.
Yeah, it claims to be to musicals what games like Mass Effect are to movies.
And with the people involved, it's interesting, and they already had a fair amount of decent work done, at least for the concept. And yeah, I am interested. So yeah, I backed that at a pretty high level too. But I don't know if I'll end up regretting or enjoying because it hasn't come out yet.
I don't know if I've ever backed a game.
I'm gonna go look at my Kickstarter portfolio. I don't know that anything I've ever backed has ever not come out except for Will Hindmarch. I feel like if I did a Will Hindmarch impression on a regular basis, I could become an obsequious slug or something like that.
I backed Portrait Workshop recently. It's supposed to come out in May, making character portraits.
Portrait Workshop.
Yep. Did you get my little 3D art earlier, Rad?
I did. Yeah. Was that where that came from?
Yeah. No, that came from Daz.
Oh.
That was like 10 minutes in Daz.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna do a James's character, Eric's character, Gleemo's character. Is that it? Those are three primary returning guests.
I mean, Eric's gonna be here in like 2 or 3 weeks.
I know.
There's
I'm
like
gonna have-
one. It's James is back next week for episode 75, part 2.
Yeah.
Then it's 1 week of downtime, and then it's Eric's back, and his character will be picking up Melee Master. It's ironic
Nice.
because his other character also has Melee Master now.
Is he playing a different character?
No, he's still playing.
Oh, you're talking about
Mozzie.
his
Yeah, but Mozzie is in the melee focused Crusader, but he didn't have Melee Master, and now he does.
But his Oath of Endosteel character has Melee Master?
Yes, so you can
Nice.
get the double hatchman attack.
Oh yeah, that's good.
I was reading all the various combat or special pilot abilities, and I figured I had to take human TRO because that would fit me perfectly.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh yeah. That's the one where
Yeah.
you can don't you roll and like know whatever you want to know or something like that?
Oh no! It means your character just knows everything about all the various mechs, but it
Right.
translates to a +1 on the chance to actually deliver a critical hit shot.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
All of my Kickstarters have been completed with the exception of Project Dark and maybe Simple System. I guess maybe that delivered. I backed Into the Stars and then never played it because it wasn't very good.
I
Yeah, well-
backed Savage Rifts and have never played it. I think it's still in its
I
shrink
backed
wrap.
Wrath of the Autarch and then it turned out it was the Fate system and it was fucking horrible. It was like, create a deck, then create 2 more decks, and use these dice to pick from the deck, and use the cues on your character sheet to inform which of the 10 heroes your 4 players will be playing today. And I was like, nope.
I backed a game called Firefall. Anybody remember that?
I do.
Yep,
I
do remember
Firefall.
that. Yes.
That was an
It
MMO.
could have been good, and then it wasn't.
I played it for a while. Actually, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
But it was
I think I
okay.
played it for about 25 minutes
Yeah, it was
after downloading it for a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And I backed. I don't know if I backed it or I just pre-ordered it. WildStar. Does anybody remember that game?
Yeah.
Yep, I do.
Space WoW. Yeah.
I want to tell you about
I think so.
WildStar real quick. I played during the beta. People were unlimitedly spamming slurs, insults, any attempt to inform to the moderators. The moderators were so flooded with requests they wouldn't do anything about it. So I said, I don't want, like, I paid for this beta access, I bought the game, got beta access as a result. Your moderation team has made little or no attempt to stop people from just screwing around in game chat, and there's no way to mute game chat. I would like my money back. And they were like, well, you'll have to delete your entire account as a result. And I was like, I have so many NCSoft games attached to my account.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, you're going to have to, I was like, well, guess what? I don't play any of those other games now. I would
Yeah.
rather burn every
Sea of
bridge in
Heroes,
existence
sad
to get
face.
away from WildStar. I am not paying you any money for this game.
Yeah.
Did anyone ever play an MMO called Asheron's Call?
Yes.
No.
Wow.
So that was Microsoft's attempt to have an MMO, and I started playing it. It was in the EverQuest days, so it was pretty blocky 3D graphics, But there's this system in Asheron's Call where you had a liege and you had vassals. So if you had a liege, then a certain percentage of your XP would go up to your liege. But the idea was you had to get vassals, so your vassals would then pass a certain percentage of their XP up to you, so you could not play the game and still go up in levels if you had a big enough downstream. So it was a fucking pyramid scheme.
So pyramid scheme, the MMO. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
but
great.
once you get enough downstream, then you'll be able to be, a liege lord, and
That's
Yeah,
funny.
you got to be middle tier in order to work your way
Middle
up to the
tier,
top
yeah.
executive level.
Hey, my first MMO I played seriously was The Matrix Online. Where I actually
Interesting.
played it for like months. Yeah.
It
And
says,
I was go ahead.
I was just going to say, it says here that I backed a successful Kickstarter project called White Ash Volume 1, an incredible comic done by apparently the artist Connor Hughes. I know Connor Hughes. I didn't know that he was the one who worked on White Ash Volume 1. A fantastic fantasy story of Pennsylvania dwarves and their elven neighbors.
Man, that's almost an unbelievable coincidence.
I know, so weird.
right.
James, I'm sorry for interrupting you. Please continue.
I was just saying
Matrix
because
Online.
I was connected to the Matrix Online, well, to the Matrix in general, because I'd worked on the film. So it was
Wow.
I wanted that to do well. So, and it was good for a while actually. It had a big role play element in it. A lot of people were actually finding ways to like role play characters, not just play the game.
I backed the Critical Role animated special, and let me tell you, that has really panned out. They were like, we're going to deliver 6 episodes. Then they were like, we're going to deliver 8 episodes. Then they were like, we're going to deliver 24 episodes.
Yeah.
And it's going to be on Amazon Prime. And I
Aren't they
was
on like 2 seasons now? Don't they have like 2
it's
seasons?
2
funded?
seasons. I was just like, man, my investment here has really paid off. Turns out $1 million is enough to move you into the industry.
Listen, let me talk about Critical Role for 5 seconds.
Please talk as long as you want. It's ongoing right now. It started half an hour ago.
No wonder our viewership is so low.
It got unentertaining again. I'm not gonna lie. It had me for like 2 episodes, and then it lost me again.
I just got through the 2 weeks ago, and I'm watching last week's now, where with the Caduceus and his secret den or whatever.
Could not be less interested.
I gotta tell you, I actually really fucking love all the new Jester parts, but I have no investment in Caduceus's.
No.
Caduceus is so super chill that it's hard to get passionate about anything he does.
Yeah. I don't know. It's no secret that I'm definitely less into RP games that try to take themselves super seriously.
I've heard that. Sunspirit
that probably
was like, I only
to
watch 2 things from you, Arthur. I watch Battletech and Warhammer, and I watch your humor streams. And I was like, yeah, you mean Made RPG and Restart. That's what you mean. That's exact. I know what you mean when you say humor games. And that's what Rad wants. What Rad wants is River's Edge. That's what he wants.
That's right. That's what I want.
But Brad, don't you like simulation systems a bit as well, though? I mean,
how do you mean?
Okay, so I mean, BattleTech is I guess a simulationist game, in that and I quite like some game systems that can actually get quite crunchy, but the crunch is all involved in giving you a very simulationist approach to, say, combat systems, for example. But it varies. I think some people, their mileage does vary on that sort of differentiation.
I do like that style of gameplay. I just have a limited headspace for it, I guess I should say, right? Like, in the same vein of thought that I'm a one game person, similarly am I in like simulation based games. like I play Battletech right now. I probably would not play another one recreationally. Like I wouldn't play one of those games with my real life friends as a board. You know what I mean? Like this is, I'm good. I'm filled up on like that simulation crunch. Um, I do. I have always been drawn to like that type of game. Even games that aren't like that, I tend to play like they are, if that makes sense. Um, I have been accused of being a min maxer in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I would accuse
and
you of that.
and
Absolutely.
and fairly so, right? Like, and I don't think, for me, that's not at the expense of role playing. I still very much enjoy role playing, but it's just in addition to, like, that's part of the fun of the game for me is the the mastery of the system behind it, right? And all the numbers and the math that go into it. I've always, and that's probably from having kind of like a 3.5 Pathfinder roots a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I'm less that lately. It seems like I'm far more into the frivolous and
The Hogar Heavy Hide.
yeah, exactly.
See, when BattleTech first came out, there was a big surge then of simulationist games. There was a famous game called Phoenix Command by Leading Edge Games back in the mid '80s that was like ultra realistic combat simulation. Like, it would differentiate about whether you were shot in the finger or the palm or
Jeez.
the lower arm as such. And there's things like, we tried playing it once and tried to make a shot and miss completely, and the gym's like, oh well, you didn't take an action to adopt a shooting stance first. You were firing from the hip. You didn't declare a shooting stance. So they can get that was really crunchy. That was the first game system I ever came across with a D10,000 roll.
Oh, last time I did a D10,000 roll was for the Chaos rolls in Winter's Edge 2, where the audience was like, I could be turned into stone if I roll badly on this. Maybe I should stop fucking around with the Chaos rolls. We had another topic. I feel like we've come to an end of this. I don't even remember what the topic was to start with, but we've been on it for about 45 minutes. So,
well, let me close up one last thing on that one to say that talking about simulationist games has made me feel like the sort of game that I want to do at some point or start planning for in the future is I want to do some sort of post-apocalyptic, either with zombies or without. I'm not yet decided on the whole zombies thing, but I do like the survival game style sometimes, like limited resources.
I'm gonna throw you on two different things. Powered by the Apocalypse World. Do you know of this?
I do. Well, okay. So I've never played. I've played Night Witches, which is the same system. So
yes,
and I found it to be. I find it to be a good system for con games, like for one shots or for short campaigns. I don't know how well it would go for a long term game.
I've done several 5 or 6 episode Apocalypse World.
Yeah. And what was the other thing you're going to put me onto?
Outbreak Undead.
I have that. one.
It is a pain in the ass. I'm never going to run it on stream, but it sounds like it might be right up your alley.
I mean, it's one of those. When I read it at first, it was like, oh, okay, this is trying to make a game where you play yourself, which was sort of like the FFG End of the World scenarios as well.
I got a great story for you about that.
Yeah.
That is the only episode of AP Gaming Real that I ever had on stream, but never moved over to YouTube. We were doing 5-week-long games with Henley and Virgil and all those guys, and I wanted to get them to do the End of the World game, and I introduced it by myself, describing locations that I knew about in New Jersey. And at the beginning of it, I was like, hey guys, come to my gaming convention in Brigantine Beach, New Jersey. And then I fell off a roof and died during the zombie invasion. And Zombie Me tried to kill the players. And they were like, wow, this game really sucks. And I was like, wow, you guys are just going to trash the system the whole time. And they were like, no, let's do the next one. Let's do Star Wars. And that's how I got my first, Star Wars game going. It was supposed to only be 5 weeks, and then it ended up going like 44 episodes or something like that. So I just want to cut in there and say,
well, I did try playing.
Game, I love it. Players hate it.
Yeah, I did try playing a game of All Flesh Must Be Eaten once, where we were actually playing not ourselves, but we were playing in our own city, and we got into an argument in one game about which road was the best road to take between two locations based upon our real world knowledge of the city layout, and we're like, okay, this is too meta for us or too deep. This game's not going to work out.
I gotta tell you, Outbreak Undead, I know it says that you should make a character like yourself. Ignore that part and just get to the actual gameplay mechanics. Yeah, chat's talking about Blades in the Dark. That's extremely popular. It's got a lot of subsystems that have been coming out with it that people like.
I've tried to
had a lot
watch.
of trouble with it. I don't like it that much. I think it has elegant game mechanics and difficult execution.
I've tried to watch some Blades in the Dark shows and just could never get.
I know Kelso
Could never
really,
get into that.
really loves Blades in the Dark, as does Eric V.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I don't know. I'm just. I'll play one thing until that one thing no longer satisfies me, and I haven't gotten there yet with 5th edition because I mean, I'm a real life person with responsibilities and a family and stuff. I don't get to play role playing games very often.
I don't.
So
I can't
I'm
believe
not
that you're a real
exactly-
life person. I thought you were just computer generated image. Why have I been paying for you?
I'm not exactly burning through like RPG content. So like for me, a single system will last a really long time before I'm bored with it. And to be honest with you, when I'm bored of playing 5th edition, I'll probably go back to playing Star Wars because it's
FFG Star Wars.
Yeah, because of the love I have for the setting. So, yeah, I don't know. For me, it's like it's whatever I can get my family excited to play because that's my play group. Is my wife, my brother, and my sister-in-law. That's primarily who we play with. So, whatever we're excited about, that's what we play. And lately, 5th edition is as simplistic as a system as it is. It's it's been easy to run. It's easy to throw together. It's easy to get new people to play. It's easy to bring in like friends and other couples that just want to hang out and drink wine or whatever and play a game. Like 5th edition makes all of that very accessible, where for me to learn a new system to DM and then for me to teach it to other people, like that's a time investment that I just don't have.
I do feel like Star Wars by FFG though is a very safe system to go back to.
Yeah,
when other system has burned you, touched you inappropriately, you can go back to the warm embrace of Edge of the Empire. And
So I'm going to tell you, Rad, something that you don't know. As you know,
those are my favorite things to do.
This is the thing you do know. Rad, you know that Sid Alpha is in an eternal battle with the Patreon group ever since I didn't let him take the unsighted artillery thing that would allow him to fire LRMs.
Yes.
So that group, one of their members died, and they brought somebody else in, and they picked up playing Star Wars.
Wait, character, right?
No, one of the players died.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Oh no.
They didn't feel like they could do Battletech anymore, so they swapped back to FFG Star Wars and picked up the game where we had left off with their characters. That is the first time I've ever had to come back to a campaign before, and I was like, I did not take enough notes. I normally run games by making minimal amounts of notes and just remembering everything. And let me tell you something, filling in all the blanks for something I hadn't touched for like a year and a half. Oh boy.
Yeah, I feel you there. That's how I run games too. I don't make a lot of notes.
Yeah, so since
since
then I've been making intense and incredible amount of notes for all of my games, so just in case anything like that happens.
I've run into the exact same problem with my home game where we stopped playing largely because my brother's wedding was getting so close, and we had, they were focusing on time on that. We didn't really have time to play. So now it's been, 5+ months since we've played, and I don't remember anything. And I had all these great like threads and stuff that I was pulling and things that I was teasing. And now we all want to get back and play, but everybody's waiting on me to like remember what the fuck is going on and what
it's okay to
direction
just
I was
ask
leading
them
people
what they
in.
remember, right?
So we do. So we keep everything on OneNote that we all have shared, which works really well. And my sister-in-law is a phenomenal note taker. So she's basically our historian. But the problem is like I have a lot of stuff planned that she doesn't know about. So like it's that stuff that I'm having to go back and reinvent, and all of this it's a pretty complex, like entirely homebrewed world and plot system that like I had all of these Easter eggs that I had dropped, and I'm having to go back through her notes and try and remember like all of these little game trails that I was trying to lead them down. And it's been a real challenge. And we haven't had a session again because of me and my inability to get everything back on track.
It is such a boon though when you've got a player that will take good notes in a session.
Yes,
I've got that in
agree,
some of my
agree.
groups now. There's one girl who takes copious notes, and she does it in a funny way too. So every session we start by reading the notes of the last session, and it's been a huge boon for those
Yeah.
groups.
It's absolutely been a godsend. That's the only reason we will ever play again, is because I will be able to go through those notes and figure it out.
I'll say this about Battletech. Since mid-season 2, I had the idea that we would that enough people were watching the show, it had become the top show on my channel ever. And of course it still is. I said, maybe we'll do all the way through the FedCom Civil War. And so I've been seeding things for all this time. And I'm like, well, season 5 is going to take place at this and such a time. So I know these people are going to die and this battle is going to happen, etc., etc. The beginning of season 4, Sid Alpha completely fucked up an entire line of plot I've been working on since season 1. He did one thing, and I was like, motherfucking Sid Alpha. I can't believe you just did that shit. You son of a bitch! I have been planning a dramatic reveal for over a year, and it still won't even come into effect for a whole nother year. And now I gotta rewrite the whole storyline, because Sid's just like, I don't do that. And I was like, you don't do that? And he was like, that's right, I don't do that. And I'm like, you don't do that! Sid Alpha, you don't do that! I didn't look like that, though. I was just like, you don't do that. I see. No.
Okay.
Let's move on. Inside, I was screaming
I'm-
eternally at maximum volume.
I'm curious what this is that I did that managed to derail 2 years worth of planning with a single action.
I could tell you, but it would be a massive spoiler.
So he's already adapted, and he has something now planned.
That's right.
I
for a
know,
year
and
from
the
now.
thing is, you won't even know about it later because the effects of it will have never happened. There will never be any hint that you completely changed the storyline with one line of dialogue.
So
I
speaking of
apologize.
Patreon group, I've still got an unclaimed. I'm backing at the highest level now, Arthur, on Patreon. So as soon as I find some friends, I'll be hitting you up.
Yeah, you've got like 5 or 6 unclaimed. I don't know if I can ever successfully get you to use your...
We'll just turn it into another stream.
I feel like that's a bit circular.
This stream completely funded by
Yeah.
by
Paid
Grim
for
Brought
by
to you
Grimdark
by-
Games.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and I've already been. Somebody mentioned in chat, like, yeah, just start a new campaign. I've already started brainstorming what my new campaign will be. But hopefully, I can get somebody else to be the DM on whatever our next adventure is.
I have to tell you,
Hey.
that's my plan for this year. I want to see one cosplay of literally any character who's ever been on my show. And I want to bring in a game master to run something for me.
Yeah.
Doesn't like Pondo cosplay every single session at Battletech, pretty much.
No. I do not accept that. That's just Pondo.
That is just Bondo.
Pondo wears that in real life all the time.
Just get Gleemo to wear like a white bathrobe. Boom.
No!
Boom. Cosplay
All right,
done.
let me be more clear. An audience member, not a player,
Okay.
cosplay a character.
Yeah, my next
That's it.
campaign idea.
The gauntlet is thrown.
My next campaign idea is to, and I don't know if I'm going to use this on my family or have it be more of like kind of a West Marches situation where we get together every 3 or 4 months with a bunch of friends and all play like one shots basically in a continued story. But I want to do, we had almost this, and this was something we set up with you, Arthur, is what gave me this idea, where we established the tavern, right? Weren't we talking about this with, I don't remember
That's
what
how
game it
West
was we were
Marches
going to
works.
play. Where instead of being the adventurers that find themselves in the tavern and then go out on a journey, you are the business that starts
runs
the tavern and the adventurers come to you, and you're constantly have to deal with all their bullshit. So like, I was gonna have everybody.
It's
make,
from
like,
that Door Monster skit where they literally do that. They're like, we'll send the adventurers out. When they come back, we'll poison them and kill them in their sleep and take the treasure.
I was gonna have everybody make 2 NPCs, like basically like somebody who stays at the tavern, or 2 PCs. This fucking dog won't stop squeaking this goddamn toy. I'll kill you. You're not even my dog. I'll bury you in the backyard. No one will know.
We'll know. You just told us.
Oops. People on the internet will know. Your owner won't. I'll tell him you ran away. He stopped though. You hear that? It'll start again like any second now. There he goes. I was gonna have him make 2 PCs, one that stays at the tavern and one that's like an agent that can go out and do things. Because I don't know. I was trying to like game plan. Will it get old staying in one place all the time? But you think of like every sitcom you've ever watched, like it all takes place like in an apartment. You know what I mean? Like they get in all this weird stuff happens to them all in this one place.
Bottle episode, yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of that's my concept for the new game that I'm gonna run. Is I'm gonna have friends D&D, and they're gonna run a bar, and shit's gonna happen to them.
Apparently, people don't know what we're talking about, so I'm gonna go find the Door Monster episode where that happens.
It'll start as like an outpost at like a crossroads, and I'll probably do like kind of a base building mechanic where they'll be able to like try and entice other businesses to come and like build an inn next to them or whatever, right? Like they'll be the beginning of like a Western town, and it was gonna be very Western themed. Like it was gonna be very, very Old West cowboys and cattle rustlers, and I would use D&D beasts or whatever for flora and fauna, and that was my concept.
Has anybody ever played Wield?
No, but I bought it when you told me about it, so
yeah,
I got it.
So I mentioned the show before. But okay, yeah. Wield's the one where you play intelligent weapons, and you're trying to control your NPC wielders who are hopeless. Yeah,
which sounds amazing.
Did you find what you're looking for, AP?
I'm looking for it. Door Monster has 1.5 million videos.
What was the game we were going to play, Arthur? It was going to be a 1-shot or a 2-shot, and we never ended up playing it. I don't even remember who was doing it. It was the 2nd edition game. That's what it was. Yep.
We had characters and everything.
We did.
I have the battle maps and everything set up still, but I could not tell you how to play that game anymore.
That's right. Was Pondo going to run it for us? Or was he just going to be
No, I was going to run it.
You were going to run it.
Here we go. I'm getting this for chat. It's 3.5 minutes long, so watch it now or watch it later. I don't know. Watch it whenever you want. Hopefully that showed up in chat. I know that my URL rules are prohibitive.
I had this point a few years ago where I was buying every RPG that came out that had something steampunk related. Like steampunk was the thing at the time, so I bought stuff like Tephra and Iron Kingdoms and all sorts of weird steampunk games. I actually, that's what I wanted to do, like a one of those sort of like the Rocket Man style 1930s style films. Ooh, as an RPG, like pulp and stuff, something with Zeppelins. Needed Zeppelins.
Dude, the Rocketeer would make a fucking baller RPG setting.
Iron Sky.
I never saw that. Kind of wanted to.
Wow, you're missing out. Iron Sky 1 is pretty good. Iron Sky 2...
I really enjoy...
They're very ridiculous.
Arthur knows this. I've talked about it lots of time. I really enjoy that setting. To me, it's kind of like it's adjacent to like the Weird War kind of situation. Like I love that sort of...
What's a steampunk film?
Sort of combo of settings.
There was a steampunk film that had it was all actors on blue screens. Or green screens. There was no sets at all. Sky Captain and the World Tomorrow. That's the one. Yeah. There was actually some decent name actors, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah, I mean, it had like Angelina Jolie, and that's the only one I can remember. I never saw the movie.
Yeah. Was it Jude Law?
Movie.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was Jude Law.
Yeah.
Captain.
Just for IMDb. Yeah, there you go.
I have to tell you, I have so many games that have been stacking up over, I'm going to say, the last 18 months. Now that basically since Warhammer, I haven't been able to release any new streams, and it's freaking me out. I've got so
Fuck
many
Warhammer.
fully fleshed out RPG systems ready to go. I mean, I've got so many ideas just for Cyberpunk 2077, which isn't even out yet. We've already got a logo for the show.
You're not a true DM unless you've got like 3 or 4 campaign planning going in the background.
I can believe that, right? But my thing has always been I can talk that talk. Like I took me 2 years to get a Mistborn stream together, but I did make it happen. Whenever I come up with stream ideas, I fucking deliver them. But it's been so long since I've delivered them. I've got over a dozen fully fleshed out worlds ready to go. I got Food Dungeon. I got a Lovecraft game. I got the space D&D Gladiators ready to go. Mick is making a webcomic about it.
What are the space D&D gladiators?
Oh, it's based off of Maximum X Crawl and the
I'm in.
Yeah, see, I knew you'd be in. It's the Maximum X Crawl for 5e, but instead of modern day, it's set in a D&D fantasy world with the what's it called, Spelljammer setting. So
Okay.
you use phlogiston ships to travel between the worlds, Spelljammer hulls to travel the phlogiston between worlds, and go from event to event, trying to work your way up the leagues.
I like that.
Yeah, well, Mick likes it so much that he keeps trying to get our regular on the tabletop group to fuck off and switch to that game. And everyone's like, let's stick with Corsair Point a little while longer, man. And he's like, no, rebellion! I got that ready to go. Mick and I have worked on a world backstory. We don't agree on everything, but it's his comic and it's my D&D game, so...
So I got a question for the people on stream and also the audience. Just a quick one.
Chat at home. What do you got?
Yeah, so I'll start with you. Start with you, Arthur.
Oh shit.
Longest campaign you've been involved in? Run, play, I don't care. What's the longest you've been in a single game for?
Battletech.
Where to go? Battletech. So how many years is that one now?
I mean, for 2 now, right? Almost 2.5.
Okay.
We started around Thanksgiving 2 years ago. So, 2 years, 4 months.
I don't just mean on stream. I mean in general as well, like in your own role playing experience.
No,
Okay.
I mostly look. It's tough to say because I did like 7 years of Pathfinder Society, which is an organized game, and what do you consider a campaign in that, right? Like I had multiple highest possible level characters that I had never played. I had just accumulated GM credit to level them up to 12 and 13. And I had one character that was like 18 or 19, which shouldn't even be possible in the Pathfinder Society system. I had just played the secret forbidden modules that no one was really allowed to play.
Are you, Sid?
Longest play and or stream would also be Battletech. Most of my because before I started being on Arthur's streams, I hadn't played any role-playing games since for at least 10 plus years before that. And
I still remember getting your application after JP retweeted me. I was like, I got a bunch of applications, but this is the only person who has put together coherent English.
I did. Barely, I think. No, before that, largest campaigns and everything were like maybe lasted a couple of months.
About you, Rod? Sound off.
He's like, it's been 20 years since I started my game.
It
My
feels
home
that
game
long.
has lasted for longer than the lifetimes of my children.
My home game's been going on for about 3 years. But the longest game I've been in was probably 4 years. It was a Pathfinder game. It's one of the first games it was one of the first times I ever played, was a Pathfinder game. And I played a half-orc paladin redeemer, and it was glorious. And I loved it. Shut up.
Redeemer. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen to this fucking world wound motherfucker up in here.
He was an edgy, salty bitch.
Yeah, I bet.
I loved it. Yeah, that's not a hugely impressive number, but 4 years,
Okay.
years, I think.
No, I'm feeling like a real nerd now. My longest campaign was 12 years of Dark
Pretty
Heresy.
good. That's
12
impressive.
I have a 7-year campaign which is still running right now of Scion as well. So they're my
Wow.
longer ones. So
Yeah, my home game, I had to look hard at it because I was like, I don't want it to go on forever. I don't know. I'm a big believer in like a beginning, a middle, and an end. So I've had to go back and cut a lot of the original content and events that I had planned. I had to really kind of, I had to trim it down significantly because I don't know. My original idea was that the campaign would go on for about 2 years and then we would do something else, because I always have a lot of new ideas that I never get to act on because I get so, you just get so embroiled into what you got going on that you don't want to miss out, or, kind of like Connor is saying in chat, right? Like, I have all this stuff invested in this character. I don't want to leave it behind. And like, that's absolutely a legitimate way to feel. But at the same time, I also have like 10 cool character ideas that I haven't gotten to play yet, or 5 or 6 cool campaign ideas that I haven't gotten to act on yet. And like, it comes and goes, it ebbs and flows, but sometimes I'm more excited about new stuff than I am invested in my current stuff. Not that I'm not invested and in love with the content that I'm involved in right now. It just, it comes and goes. It's just a cycle.
I get it. You want to see other GMs. It's fine, Red.
Yeah. Look, I'm not a monogamous RPG player, okay? I don't work that way, all right? It's not you, it's me.
I got the problem that my favorite part of role playing is making characters. My least favorite part is when characters die.
Oh, I don't mind when they die, but my favorite part is making characters, and I have such a catalog of characters that I made and got really excited about, and then couldn't play, and just they just get put on a shelf. And by the time it comes around that I'm going to play something new, I never go back to that because at that point I've already had new ideas. So like,
no,
you know what I mean? Like the backlog is endless. I can never go all the way back. I don't keep them in a sequence. Like if I come up with 10 new ideas and then the new game starts, I don't go back to number 1. I go number 10 because that's my most recent, most exciting idea that I had. So like 1 through 9 never gets played. I never go back to them.
I want to play Caratina so bad. That's what I want to fucking play that character.
Who's going to do
really
that
like
game,
her.
Arthur?
I want to play a healing warlock who's just like, let's all be friends, teamwork, friendship, and magic, and let's defeat the bad guys and do good in the world. I want to see if I can pull that character off. Let me tell you something. I hear all y'all motherfuckers saying who character creation is the best moment in the campaign. Let me tell you something, motherfuckers. That ain't shit. Character creation is for bitches. All right, y'all need to play Burning Wheel, where your character doesn't even start until you're 12 episodes in. At that time, you look back, because that's how the game's played. You learn who the character is. You hold them over the volcano, and then after like 10 or 12 episodes, you're like, oh, so that's who this guy is. This is how far I've come. Okay. All right, let me tell you something. Count Swan getting to pull off at least 3 villainous narrative arcs where I was like, I have a plan and I'm going to execute it. And I would go like 6 or 7 episodes. And at the end of it, I would be like, boom, bitch. There were so many setbacks, but I have executed my villainous plan. That guy, the Raven, I fucking murdered him in public in front of everybody. I killed his ass and no one is going to take me to jail because I made that bitch look like a dumbass. I was like, I'm going to go make a town. And everyone's like, no, Arthur, you can't just go make a town. And like 10 episodes later, I was like, bitch, I made a town. How about that?
Yes, but did you kill thousands of people just to get at one enemy general?
No, I'm sorry. I've never gone to your level of evil. I'm just that kind of general malaise of evil. I'm not a horseman of the apocalypse.
But props to Corewatch in chat, who's had a 15-year campaign.
Incredible.
And a current 13-year Serenity campaign, which has gone for like 5 times the length of the actual show.
I don't understand. How do you do that? The highest D&D character I've
It's
ever
like
had
13 times the length of the actual
is
show.
level 16. I've never had a 20th level character ever. Ever.
I've never had a 20th level. No, I think the
16.
highest level I had was
16
like
is my
12 or
max.
13.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've done the epic level
Barbarian.
stuff before.
I had multiple 13 level Pathfinder characters and at least one 19th level Pathfinder Society character that
For
I
me-
painstakingly brought from the lowest to the possible highest.
For me, 5 to 12 is the sweet spot. That's where you have enough cool tools to be able to do cool things, but there's still like most of the classic D&D like heavy hitters are still a huge threat to you and like are big encounters. Like 5 to 12.
Look, when you get a wizard at Pathfinder at level 13, and you just end an encounter with one move where you're like,
Yeah.
I'm going to cast Dominate Monster, Echoed, and you got disadvantage on the roll. So you need to make 4 d20 rolls and pass all of them, or you're mine, bitch.
Yeah.
That was every single fight for me. I was like, stand back, guys. I'm going to solo the next encounter.
Yeah.
Or you cast Magic Jar and you're like, hey guys, it's me. I know I look like I'm a devil, but it's actually me. I'm the wizard that's slumped over there. I'm going to throw me over the shoulder. I'm going to pretend that I'm Wookiee prisoning, and I'm going to go rip the final boss's throat out.
Yeah.
Be right back.
Get help.
Yeah. You're going to get help.
Have some tea or something.
I was not popular in my Pathfinder Society crew.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to have,
I
after this, I don't know if you're going to have people
grandstanded so
banging on your
often.
door being like, yeah, I want a DM for Arthur.
Listen, Pathfinder was broken as fuck.
Yeah, it was.
It's so broken. I mean, they literally had multiple spells. Its only purpose was completely dominate something under your control. And I was like,
Yeah.
why would you pick any other spell? Like, this is 90% of monsters have brains, and if you can turn those brains to your brains, you just great, excellent. Play Burning Wheel. It's not for everybody, but
It's
it
not
is
for
an
me.
incredible experience.
Yeah, I've only played Burning Empires. I haven't played Burning Wheel.
Burning Empires. Look at this fancy man right here.
You'll never get me to play Burning Wheel. I'm sorry.
I keep Burning Wheel at my bedside. It's on my. I put my tablet on top of it every night. It keeps my tablet perfectly level with the bed.
My main memory of playing Burning Empires was the fact that Burning Empires is based around a steampunk style future setting where you got the world with space exploration, but the world you're in is sort of like a steampunk level of technology, and aliens are invading, but they're doing it through like a covert invasion where they're suborning people to their side. And so the players are basically trying to prevent the invasion while the aliens are trying to progress it. So at the end of each session, you're doing these sort of roles to work out, did what we do in this game, deplete or push back the alien invasion? And I remember that my character at one point ended up seducing his father's secretary and like sleeping with her behind his father's back. And then that pushed back the alien invasion because the father was working for the aliens, and because he got somewhat for that, pushed back the invasion plan somehow. So that's it. We've driven Rad away. He's gone.
Core Watch has got some. It's mostly for Rad, I think, to talk back to him. Core Watch has got some stuff for you, Rad, in chat.
Sorry, I had to go get a kid's toy out of a dog's mouth.
Yeah.
Better than a kid have a dog's mouth.
True.
You know, my uncle's enormous fucking 100-pound dog just died a couple weeks ago.
Jesus.
And now he's like, I thought I might get another dog. It's only 50 pounds. And I was like, show me a picture. And he sent it, and I was like, there's no way that dog is 50 pounds. You just got the same dog, but 10 years younger. You're going to have the same fucking problems where everyone around you hates you because the dog leaps on kids and pins them to the ground to lick them on the face. And all his neighbors are like, yeah, you can't let that dog out of your sight. You can't let it go outside alone. Dogs. What are you going to do?
We're getting a dog now. We've had a cat for 10 years, for 15 years. We're getting a dog now.
No, I haven't seen Amore for days. I know she exists because I leave food out and it disappears. but I haven't seen her. And you know what? At some point, she'll show up and bite me and injure me and kick me in the face, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, welcome, Amore.
That's how you know she loves you.
Yeah, that is the words of abuser. That's
She probably just looks at you and she's like, why do you make me this way?
yeah. Why do you make me do this?
Why are you making me do this?
Companion donkeys? I don't know if that's a real thing.
Didn't you hear about the companion horse that got flown in the States recently?
Nope.
What?
No, there's something in the media that there was someone managed to convince the one of the airlines to take a companion horse in the cabin with the in first class. And apparently
first class, that's a different story.
Yeah, and apparently now the FAA are changing the regulations so you can no longer have companion. It has to be only companion dogs going forward.
Yeah, I was gonna say it would have to be one of those little tiny horses, like little Sebastian.
Yep.
Brad knows who I'm talking about.
Of course.
5,000
5,000 candles in the wind.
You're
Yeah.
5,000 candles in the wind. I was definitely Ben there, where he's just like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Everyone's losing their minds.
I may or may not named a 5th edition gnome character Chicky Parm.
Wow.
No, I named Chicky Parm. Chicky Parm Parm.
Chicky Parm.
Yeah, flew from Chicago to Omaha on American Airlines with a horse in first class.
That's insane. I did have a player play in my home game. He was there were a couple that joined us for just one session, and I had them both play Cobalt, and one of them was a fighter Cavalier, and for his mount, I gave him a nightmare, but I made it a little Sebastian-sized nightmare. So it was like a little Shetland pony with like bat wings.
I gotta tell you, I gave Atomic a nightmare, and yet nothing has happened yet, surprisingly. It hasn't eaten anyone.
I've done a pixie paladin with a small dog as a mount before.
Ah, yes, the classic Pathfinder character is the mounted gnome lancer on the dog. What was that build from back in the day in second edition from Unearthed Arcana, where you're a drow matriarch dual wielding lances riding a unicorn? You get double damage while charging, and the unicorn gets double damage while charging. It was like this whole skein of additional rules, but it was widely regarded as a top tier character. I can't even imagine what dual wielding lances is like.
I played a Pathfinder ninja that could throw like 47 shurikens in a turn or something like that and get sneak attack on all of them. It was so stupid.
Oh, Pathfinder was really dumb.
Yeah.
I feel like we're sounding more drunk as this stream goes on.
I know.
The quality of conversation is
well, look,
moving
we need another topic.
I'm
I'm willing to turn to the audience for another topic. I'm not going to say I'll take anything you throw at us, but reasonable conversation topics will be accepted. Why not Burning Wheel, though, Rad? What can I do to get you in a Burning Wheel game?
I don't know. It's just like James was saying earlier. I do like the kind of like simulation craft, but I'm getting my fix from that out of Battletech, and I just don't. I don't know. Nothing about that system is appealing to me. I don't know.
Intense pizza creation.
It seems to be really focused around like political stuff, and like I'm not real into that in role-playing games.
I think that might be skewed from my discussions of Burning Wheel.
Maybe
it's really not about politics unless you want it to be.
I'm not super into like the crunch necessarily when it comes to that stuff.
That's true.
I like it in the tabletop wargaming arena, but not necessarily in my role-playing game.
Very well.
I like things to be simple and smooth and quick, and I don't personally play with a lot of dice rolling in general when I play games. I don't know. I'm just not doesn't excite me. Nothing about it excites me. The character creation that I've seen doesn't particularly excite me.
We got
I
a
don't
new
know.
topic.
Honestly, let me finish this thought.
All right.
When this show is over, I don't know that I'll be jumping on another Battletech show. Like, I do genuinely really enjoy playing Battletech, and I will want to continue to play it for a very, very, very long time. But like, as far as playing a game with Arthur, I don't know if the next game I want to play with Arthur is a Battletech game. It might be something else. I don't know. I'm open to a lot of different things.
Like saying okay when you receive an overlay.
That's right.
You've ruined it for the Battletech games. It's like no Battletech game will ever be as good as this one, Arthur. That's what he's saying.
I don't think that's what he's saying.
I do really like Battletech.
I don't think that's what anyone's saying.
But given the choice, I would probably play D&D or something like D&D before I would play something like Battletech. And that's not to say that it's not to say I don't like Battletech. I just, I'm a very fickle person, and I dance around from system to system and from game to game and all of that. Not all the time, because I only like to play one, and I play it until I've had enough of it. And Battletech it's getting to that point. I could see in another year of this game or so, like, I'm gonna want to break from Battletech. I'm gonna want to just play a goofy 5e game or something else that Arthur's going on. Maybe I don't always want to do Battletech forever, is what I'm saying.
And yet you're so eager to jump on Oath of Endesteel.
Right, because now
you'll do anything to jump on Oath of Endesteel.
Yeah,
you're like,
just because I don't want to
kill someone to take their slot, like.
Just because I don't want to do it forever doesn't mean I don't really like doing it a lot right now. I mean, this is
Sorry, was that actually an option? Just asking for a friend.
Wow, Jesus.
Just supplement and replace the.
Can you actually make that time zone, James? 3 to 5 Eastern on Sundays. I mean, that's like middle of the day Monday.
No,
right?
So 5 Eastern would be 9 a.m. Monday.
Yeah.
I can guess. I could guess that sort of thing. I can move.
Yeah. I mean, I had you on the cast list, but then I did the math and I was like, "There's no way a regular human being with a job could make this time regularly. Like, that's not going to happen."
I am the boss at my job, so
I didn't know that actually.
That usually means you have less free time.
The most Sid Alpha reply you could say. Favorite board game? I, of course, believe that the favorite board game that I have is whatever game I'm playing with my friends right now, like Battletech. I've only played one game of Twilight Imperium, but I feel like that's the one for me. The politics phase of it has sold me. I fucking love that shit. I love dunking on people during conversations. It just feels so right.
See, that's another kind of game that I just don't know if I could get into. So many fiddly bits.
James, favorite board game?
I got a real soft spot in my heart for Arkham Horror. It was the first board game I played a lot of that was everyone cooperating against the game. And I had played games like in the past, but never sort of that had the complexity and the depth that Arkham Horror had, and added more expansions to it, which added more different elements. I really liked that sort of that cooperative element where everyone either wins or everyone loses. I want to tell a quick side story if I can though before you, or do you want to get other people's answers first? Okay. I was actually recounting this tale just recently where, does anyone recall an old board game called Nightmare, the video board game?
You're talking about the thing with Harbingers and the dude on the VHS and...
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, yes,
so this was...
I quite remember it.
Yeah, so
turn the videotape, turn the board over now. You've lost.
For those that don't recall, Nightmare was a game which came out probably late 90s, mid to late 90s. That was all done using a VHS tape where, and it's probably people on the stream who don't know what a VHS tape is. But basically, it was like a pre-recording of a timer where you played 60 minutes. It would count down from 60. And every few minutes, this character called the Gatekeeper would appear and shout some instructions at the group. And you had to actually you had to respond to it too. You go, answer me. You had to go, yes, my Gatekeeper. But what happened was when it first came out, my sister was working in a retail store in the city that was the first store to get it, and they did this big thing where they had like an outdoor mall area in the city. They sort of sectioned off a part. They put a big cinema screen up, and they got a group of people from the audience to play a game of Nightmare for the big release party. And I was one of the people pulled out to play that game. And like, it was like the perfect playthrough in that, like, we didn't quite know at the time, because I was only a kid at the time, didn't quite understand whether or not the VHS was actually responding to you or not, or whether it was just pre-recorded and you just happened to be always getting it at the exact right timing for you to ask a question, you to answer, and it to comment with some ubiquitous comment that would go no matter what you said. And then, like, we literally finished the game with like 2 seconds to spare. Like, someone had to get up, run from the table over to stop the VCR before the game ended. And it was like exactly what the game should be. And I was like, this game is fantastic. You know, I asked my parents, buy me this game for Christmas. And I got it. And like, no playthrough again was ever the same.
Ever as good.
Because you always realize, it's the exact same video every single time, no matter what you do. And, you finish the game with like 16 minutes to spare. It's like, okay, wow, there was no tension in those last few seconds where I still had 16 minutes to run to the VCR and hit stop. So
I got to tell you,
that was my
first playthrough though. Feels real good.
Yeah, that was my first. That was
interesting
my
back in
first
the day.
experience with cooperative play against the game. So, anyway, sorry for the sidebar, but
I
thought
want
it
a
was a fun
sidebar
story.
as well. There are Zoomers alive today that don't know that the save button in programs represents a floppy disk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They've never seen one before.
It's true.
There were comments on the Critical Role art of one of the recent intros where someone is holding a floppy disk up where people didn't know what that was. They were asking what that object was. And I was like, kids these days, they're so spoiled. I said for my iPhone 11.
Like, why did somebody 3D print the save button from the computer?
Hey, I was still amazed when I surprised you with the Street Fighter role-playing game.
Street Fighter role-playing game. That can't be real.
I showed it on stream before.
I know. It still can't be real. I still can't believe they made a Street Fighter movie and it wasn't 100% awful. It wasn't 100% awful.
Yeah, I guess not.
Rad, favorite board game?
I don't know that I have a favorite board game. Lately, this might seem somewhat contrived, but I have quite enjoyed playing Small World. That's kind of been my family's go-to for a while now. Small World.
I know what that is.
You never played Small World?
Why would that be contrived?
I don't know. I felt like it was a pretty popular board game.
Let me tell you something. I have watched every episode of Will Wheaton's Tabletop. I was like, I know a lot about board games now. I know all the popular ones. And then I had this same question for my New Game Plus cast, and they were like, board game you never heard of, board game you never heard of. And I was like, man, I don't know shit about board games, do I? I'm fucking clueless.
I don't play a ton of board games. But yeah, I like Small World a lot. And all of its many different iterations. And I have a special place in my heart. As a child, I played Dark Tower. I don't know if anybody remembers that game. James might remember it. It's from.
I never played it. I know it, but I never played
It's from
it.
like early
chat.
It's from like early '80s, and it had like a battery-powered tower, and you would push like I said, having a dice, it would like have all these different events that could happen and stuff when you push the button on it. Have this little keypad, and I thought that was the coolest fucking thing in the whole world for a board game to have, like an electronic tower that would like tell you things that would happen to you and stuff like that as you moved around the board and collected stuff. So I don't know that it was a good game or that I ever even played it correctly, because I can't recall ever having the directions on how to play it. So it was one of those kind of situations. But as a child, like, I don't know, I just thought it was so cool. It really took me to like a fantasy world where you'd be attacked by a goblin army or whatever, like weird stuff would happen as you were working your way around the board. Absolutely love that game for a really long time. And even after the game was long gone and lost and torn up, I still had the tower, and I would still put like the double D batteries in the bottom or whatever and push the button and watch the thing spin, come up with different stuff that was happening. I don't know.
Apparently they kickstarted a remake to it called Return to Dark Tower.
Oh, I did not know that.
Huh.
I used to play this board game called Age of Epochs, where basically it was sort of like a Risk style game, but you started off at like the Bronze Age, where everyone had different Bronze Age civilizations. And then after that first turn of invasion, it then moved ahead to like the classical era. So I don't remember what the exact eras were, but then everybody drew a new civilization, and any forces that weren't dead from the previous turn were still on the board, but you put on new forces to represent the new civilizations, and it would go through for 6 turns, each one getting more progressive through time. But you actually have this sort of classic civilization thing of having, okay, I'll have my spearmen attack your 5th Panzer Division.
Yep.
That's
That's
that sounds
Civilizations 3 right there in a nutshell.
That sounds
Archers firing
exactly-
at battleships.
that sounds exactly like what Small World is now. Like I'm pretty sure Small World is based on the game that you just described. Like 100%.
Yeah, I'll just roll in with my dozen Bradley tanks, and they have 100 stack of longbowmen, and we'll just sit here for 5 minutes as you mow them down.
I can't believe you've never played it. I say we should get it on tabletop and play it sometime. Small
Okay.
World.
I'll think about it.
It's very easy to learn. Very fun to play.
It's good for kids too, isn't it? Small World.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kid friendly.
Oh, that's
They have a
good,
kid. They have a
because
specific kid-friendly version, but even the regular version is pretty playable by kids.
might not know
Is
this,
it
but I'm
a
bad
small
at
world
games.
after all?
No.
Is
I
it
mean,
one word or 2 words?
small? I think it
One
might
word.
be one.
World
One word.
complete. Okay, that
Yeah.
was fast.
And there's a lot of different versions of it.
Well, the complete version is probably all the versions.
It might be.
Sid Alpha. Favorite board game.
Probably my favorite board game, the one that I had the most fun with, was it's actually a rare one that was discontinued a long time ago now. Star Wars Epic Duels.
Never even heard of this.
And it was you had miniatures and stuff, and you had miniatures on just normal grid board, and you had like Han and Chewie was your character there, and with it you had a deck of cards, and the cards were your playable actions, your attack, your special abilities, and they also had, some of them were attack only, some of them had attack values and defense values for if you were attacked, and had all the major characters from the Star Wars universe, including Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader and Yoda and all of them. And I got that from my girlfriend at the time, like 18 years ago. And we played it religiously, probably like 3 or 4 nights a week.
Very fast to play too.
Mhm.
You could play.
Yeah.
You could do rounds really, really quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really, really fast game if you were just doing like 1-on-1s or 2 and 3. And so we would play it like 2-3 nights a week for several years, and then I found out, oh, this is actually a really rare board game, and we're beating this thing to shit.
Did you know
So
there were
I
actually rules where
actually
you could,
have,
if you had multiple sets, you could combine them together and play 12 players at one time?
yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have the game. I went and bought it again when I found out that it was discontinued, so I still have a factory in plastic set of the game.
Wow.
And then I still have one that was the one I have open is now incomplete because one of my roommates at the time was so pissed off at Obi-Wan Kenobi steamrolling him with some of the special ability cards that he actually snuck in there when nobody else was around and took two of the 4 out of the deck and either hit him or threw him away or something.
So it's like a
And he
legacy
did that
card
with-
game.
Yeah. But yeah, it had miniatures and cards where with health values and stuff, and it was.
I think there are people that still use those minis today.
I'm surprised it was discontinued because it was such an amazing game.
I think people still use those minis today for the Legion game, the right scale for Star Wars Legion from FFG. So use them in place of the minis there.
I saw recently that FFG was in a lot of trouble, right? Weren't they having like shut down their game?
They closed their RPG line down
Yeah.
completely. So the
Yeah,
last
but
2 books
not
of Star
their
Wars
board
just came out.
games and anything like that.
No.
It was just the one thing that hadn't really done anything.
Yep.
So wait, that includes Star Wars, right?
Yep. So the last book, so Starships and Speeders just came out, and that's the last book. Yep.
Bummer.
So everything that was announced will still be released because they just announced another setting. Oh, that's right, because they had that Keyforge, whatever it is, card game, and they produced an RPG setting for that, which they had just announced the day before they announced they were closing their RPG line down. But they'll still release that.
That's too bad. I think that's one
a
of
lot
those
of people there, a lot of good guys work there and have had to move on.
I think that's one of the negative side effects of 5th edition being so successful, is I think it's kind of it's become the only show in town, I think. To a certain
I
extent.
don't think that's true. 5th edition has brought unprecedented numbers of new players to the table.
That's true, but at the same time, like I feel like that you don't think that's a little bit specific to like D20 systems?
Nope. D&D
I think
5e has been the renaissance. It has brought new people into the hobby in general. That's why you always see people that are like, now look, I'm an indie game designer, but let me tell you something. There are games out there besides D&D 5e, and you get like, hundreds of comments, and then you get 2 or 3 people that are like, there's other games out there besides D&D? Powered by the Apocalypse, what's that? And I'm like,
I'm going to be controversial here. I'm going to take off. Go ahead, Sid.
I actually just found out that Star Wars Epic Duels is actually on Tabletop Simulator.
oh, look at that. Be controversial. Hit me with it.
So let me take off my role player hat and put on my product manager hat and say that role playing games are a bad product overall.
Yeah. Agreed.
Because a group of 5 people can buy one book, and with a good imagination, can use that book for all their activities for the remainder of the time they're in that hobby, potentially.
Yeah, very true.
And so you've got to drive them to buy more material, a lot of which at the time only one person buys. It's material which is easily reproduced, like through people scanning and PDFing, etc. As far as ROI goes, it is not a substantial product, and a lot of cost and work goes into it as well. It's a long production time to go from idea, from concept to delivery with a role-playing book, especially if it involves creating a new system as well. So I think that it's an unfortunate fact that although it's a hobby we're all involved in and we all love, that it's a hobby which doesn't bear out when you've got other cheaper forms of entertainment or easier to deliver forms or pay as a service forms of entertainment like video games.
And yet, I gotta tell you, it's never been more popular than now.
Yeah. It's just
it might not be the most capitalistic, economically feedbackable, and it is difficult to get something into the market. And it often seems like people are making way more money off of dice than they are off of the books. But we get something out of it. We get to tell stories.
Yeah, that's right. And so the people that produce the content are rarely making a lot of money from it, but they're getting to tell the stories they want to tell. They're getting to contribute back to that community they're a part of. And I think that if you look at the sample of FFG, they were purchased by Asmodee. Christian Peterson moved on, who was their old CEO, and so now you've got it being run like a company where they're looking at return on working capital, return on investment, and so it didn't pan out unless you had that personal connection that says I'm a gamer who wants to contribute back into gaming through this product, which won't make me a lot of money, but it will make me some.
Right.
And
it won't lose me a lot of money.
Hobby. Exactly right.
Yeah.
It's the old joke. If you're good at writing role-playing games, you can make literally dozens of dollars.
Yeah.
So that's my truth bomb for the day.
Okay.
I think everyone feels it though.
I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, I'm a little bummed out that if FFG is not going to make Star Wars books anymore, but at the same time,
it has
I
many
have enough
books
of their Star Wars books that I can now play Star Wars forever, right?
No,
like,
let me tell you something.
Doesn't really affect me.
I have the 3 core books, and I think that's more than enough. And every time I turn around, the Patreon group is like, hey, Arthur, look at this special ship we found in one of the source books. And then they're like, hey, Arthur, I picked up a talent that's from one of the source books. And I'm like, man, these fucking source books. They have everything.
Well, now there is a finite number now because the last one has been released. So you can start.
That's okay. Their finite number is way larger than the number that I have.
I don't know where I'm cropped, but there's all my Star Wars.
You're not cropped at all. Listen, we're not cropped.
Empire, Age of Rebellion, Force and Destiny.
That's a pretty robust collection.
We zero crop tonight. Do we have a final topic that we can do, like some sort of light vanilla refresher to take us out for the evening?
Look, no,
it's a battle master for the person for Esper's. Esper's asking what schematics on the wall over there. It's a battle master, and you can't see it, but I have a Ryokan on the wall here.
All right, I'm gonna hit you with a double for everybody. You ready for this? Yep. Favorite fantasy RPG class and favorite battle mech.
You going first, Arthur?
I'm going to tell you a story.
Oh, all right.
It's the story about today's intro, what it actually would have been. Sometimes I make ideas for these polls that we're going to do, and then I have to spend all day not thinking about what my answer is going to be, because I want to make the answer as damaging to either Rad or Sid as possible. To find that
Christ.
one thing that will disappoint them so immensely that I can wallow in their misery like a tiny pig. And my question after sending the parsley meme today was going to be, what is the ultimate side dish to food? And then I was like, it's potato. I can't even not think about it. It's potato.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that answer.
Yes, I know, but I can't think of anything else now. I can't think of something that will be painful to you, because every time I think about it, I'm like, mashed potato, baked potato, French fries,
Sweet
puree
potatoes.
potato, sweet potato. Well, I don't consider sweet potato potatoes.
But it is, though.
It's not
I
at all.
disagree.
They're completely different genus.
No.
The perfect
Yep, it
side
is.
dish to a main course is more of the main course.
That's fine.
Mm.
The problem is I couldn't come up with something at the time. I don't know the answer to these questions right now. I'm thinking about it. My favorite mech, I know that the meme is the 5-yard PPC Direwolf, but I gotta say it's probably the Hollander or the Hunchback 2C.
You
Just
do
the
really like
elegance in their
Hollander.
designs. They're just
Elegance.
mechs that are designed to do one thing extremely well. Maybe not so much with the Hollander. Favorite D&D class? I don't know. I'll come back to you on that.
Fantasy RPG class, you said.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Well, if we go fantasy RPG, I had meant something like D&D-ish, but if we go fantasy RPG class, then we're talking Final Fantasy Tactics, and who knows where we could go from there, because Calculator was some real shit. Connor Hughes in the audience knows what I'm talking about. Or a Knight Ninja dual-wielding Excalibur. It was fucking weird. What do you got, James? You've been Battleteching since Battleteching existed. What's your favorite mech?
Yeah, so favorite mech for me, I guess it comes down to the aesthetic rather than, because I mean every mech's got its own battlefield role, but I really like the summoner or the Thor. You know, it was a big sort of, when I started getting into the Battletech novels, it was through the Jade Phoenix novel, like the Aiden Pride stuff.
Yeah.
So it had a lot of sort of affectation then towards the Jade Falcons, and of course Summoner was really one of their core mechs, and I just like the aesthetic of both the Loki and the Thor, and I don't know, the Thor with its offset cockpit sort of made it look more like a machine to me, which is why I quite liked it.
The Orion, yeah.
Yeah, the Orion's a good one too. The Orion just explodes when you push it.
What's
because
that
of all
quote
ammo
about the
inside it.
Jade Falcons? If you see a Falcon that's not in a Summoner, Hellbringer, or Kit Fox, something.
I don't know.
It's
but,
like
yeah.
those are the only battle mechs they pilot.
Yeah, but also because I was a big Robotech fan back in the day, so I did like all the sort of ones that were
Ah.
derivative, like the Stinger, Wasp, Valkyrie, Phoenix, or Crusader. They're all derivatives of the Veritex and such. And of course, you know, even like the Rifleman, Warhammer.
That reminds me. I gotta ask,
Archer rule.
where's the Air Mech rules at? Just asking
Land
for a
MX.
friend.
Yeah, so it's so the rules for building Land MX is in tech manual, and pretty much
the one book I've never bought.
Yeah, and they just use aerospace rules when they're in aerospace, but they're really terrible in this edition because they have to take off all the armor in order to fit all the LAM components. So
Yep.
they're good for reconnaissance and not much else in the current edition of BattleTech. Favorite fantasy class? I mean, I usually, if I get a choice, I'll play a paladin. I tend to default towards that that good archetype in most games. I mean, I think people have only really seen in your stream. I've obviously played my character in the Warhammer stream the most, which is a very unusual character for me. I usually play very talkative characters. I've just been sort of not having really streamed live before. I've been aware of the fact that I'm behind you guys slightly when it comes to my ping response, and I didn't want to play a always in the front character to avoid the technical problems of. But yeah, usually in my own group, I tend to play very social or conversive or leader type characters, and so paladins in fantasy sort of fit best for that.
Sid Alpha.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
I've been rolling around in my brain favorite mech. The thing is, the majority of mechs that I've played have either been on this stream or in MechWarrior 4, MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries,
Okay to say
MechWarrior 3.
catapult.
Not the catapult.
You're like, my favorite mech is Nagato, you bakas.
No.
Jesus.
No.
That's it.
I'm gonna get chat with that one though.
Arthur found a way to disappoint me.
Unlimited power.
I tend to prefer heavy mechs or lighter assaults. And from the video games and everything else, actually, I believe from the video games, the Thor was probably my most favorite mech ever, because you could do a lot of fun stuff with refitting that and specializing that in MechWarrior 4. Also, let's see, the Zeus probably was my other favorite.
Alright, that's a good looking
Zeus.
mech.
And favorite classes, I think it's probably an even split for me between fighter, paladin, and sorcerer. Because I really enjoy. Sometimes I really enjoy being the tanky builds, the guys that are just up in the front, just going toe to toe with the big bad nasties. And other times I just really enjoy being that snarky, sarcastic, heavy damage dealer, glass cannon. That the source that really fits the bill for me.
I don't know. I feel like Sid would play a really good red mage.
I don't know what that is.
It's
Other than a mage that wears red.
Yes, technically they are the Order of Vermilion. Red mages from Final
Dragon
Fantasy
Balls.
are
Oh no, sorry.
they're like bards basically. They get some white magic spells for healing, and they get some black magic spells for attacking. But they also get unique red magic, ice magic. But they're also attuned to sword play, and they can cast things like Inflame or in ice on their melee weapons to deal more damage. They're basically supposed to be able to do a little bit of everything. But they also have very unique magics that are dope as shit. Like chain stun.
Mm-hmm. I think, I definitely enjoy either the tankier classes or just the heavy damage dealers.
Metasaurus, we circle to you.
Man, I do not know what my favorite mech would even be.
What you're currently piloting.
Yeah, pretty much. In the games that I played, maybe it was Mercenaries 4. I'm not sure which mech where it was. Stupid dog. But I really liked, I think it was the Shadow Cat, right? Isn't that a small clan mech? Really likes. I like being agile. I like being in an underdog position where I'm a smaller mech trying to deal with larger opponents.
That would be MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries.
That's what it was.
Expansion pack.
Yes, I like having. I like having to rely on kind of guile and agility to overcome a more powerful obstacle when it comes to Mech Warrior. Outside of the video games, I don't know. It's hard to pick a favorite. Just because of my background playing the video games, and a lot of that was piloting clan mechs. A lot of like the iconic clan mechs come to mind, like the Mad Dog and stuff like that. I always liked the Mad Dog more than I liked the Timberwolf because it was smaller and faster. Again, I always kind of default to that sort of world where I'm smaller and faster because that's not my real life. It's a little, when I was younger, that was true for me, but now that I'm older, that's the antithesis of how I operate, being smaller and faster. So yeah, I don't know. Mechs that I've piloted in the game that we play, I mean, definitely my custom Centurion is probably my favorite mech, but that doesn't really count because it's not a real mech. It's just one that I made up.
Oh, it's a real mech now.
And made to look like a Centurion. It's really just my own monstrosity that I created.
That's fine. It's real.
One of my favorites right now, I will say, is the Thunderbolt. Like, I don't know, it's just a classic to me. It's got kind of a well-rounded weapon array. Like, it screams to me like old classic car of battle mechs. I don't know. I like the Thunderbolt a lot. I like the way that it looks.
Yeah,
it's
once
the
again,
Orion
the
of
offset
assault
cockpit
mechs.
look.
Yeah, the offset cockpit. I like the Thunderbolt. That's one of my favorites, and that was a big decision for me when prepping for this season, was to make the Centurion or to make the Thunderbolt version of the Centurion that I made. But
I gotta say
yeah.
though, Rad, given that you've got those two monstrosities that you built, and you are a famous mech warrior from Solaris, it's only a matter of time before posers start turning up with the exact same mech they've copied from your designs
Of
on
course,
the battlefield to contend with you. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, they have a proven track record of success. Like,
Listen, he did not rise that high in the Solaris games. He was popular, but not well titled.
so
I
yeah,
do like
that's
the idea of posers showing up, going to stun on him.
yeah, of course. But I enjoyed piloting the Axeman as well. That was a lot of fun. But I've had more fun, obviously, in the silliness that I created myself.
You know, Red, I don't often go to the Battletech forums to look up what people have to say about battle mechs, although sometimes audience members send it to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking up shit about the Hatchetman, and wow, people are fucking savage about that mech. They're like, this mech is under-armored, it's under-weaponed, it was the first mech to have a melee weapon, so it sucked. It's the worst mech possible!
People don't like
It's
melee
the
weapon
urban
mechs.
mech of melees!
Yeah, they really don't. Which of course, I don't understand. How could anyone not?
Ooh, first mech with full head ejection. Yeah. I mean, I always think Wolfhound when I think full head ejection, but
Hatchman came first.
Favorite fantasy class?
Paladin. You like everybody else except for me, just say Paladin, get it out.
It is actually Paladin.
Of course it is. All these motherfuckers. I gotta say, the 5e version of Paladin is fucking fantastic compared to every other edition.
But I enjoyed it in earlier editions as well. I'm not a religious person in real life, but something about playing that religious faith-based character is really appealing. I don't know. I just feel like it's super role play rich to have this like idealistic, live by a code sort of warrior that draws power from faith and has like really strong ideas. I think it's a lot of fun to play that faith, and it's a lot of fun to play like breaking that faith and having that character face like the real world and what the implications are of that based on
exactly. That's
like
what I want to do to Caratina. I want to destroy her.
The juxtaposition of what they believe and then how they actually interact with the world, I think is really, it's always a lot of fun to interact with. It's always a lot of fun to play. It's always a lot of fun to see other people play it. So I mean, paladins and clerics are probably definitely, and especially in D&D, of course, are my two favorite. But paladins in general, the concept of the paladin, I would play in any video game first. I would play in any RPG first. I've always, in both games and video games and role-playing games, I'm always a melee first person. I will occasionally play a caster or a ranged character, but my go-to is always a bruiser. Mechanically, that's always the character that I play. And of course, my origins in role-playing characters and video game classes has always been the rogue. I always liked being the stealthy sneak that could be the glass cannon and do a bunch of damage. I enjoyed that a lot. Again,
you're just gonna list every class?
No, those are my two.
That's three.
What was the
Paladin, cleric?
Well, I feel like they're kind of the same though. Like, well, I like both of them for the same reason, but okay. I like the gameplay of the Paladin better, which is why Paladin's my favorite.
Did anyone here play much Planescape?
Nope.
No, didn't play
Yes.
So when Planescape was coming out in second edition, they brought out this accessory thing for it, where in the context of Planescape, you have these devices called Mimir, which are like skulls that have recordings stored in them on pneumatic crystals, and you can basically play back what the recordings are. And the idea of this sort of accessory for the game was the players pick up a Mimir in your Planescape campaign, and they can ask it questions about creatures, places, etc. And it comes with a CD that has like 40 different recordings that the Mimir will answer with based upon the players asking about, certain things. And in the Planescape setting, the plane of lawful good is a plane called Excelsior. And when the players ask the Mimir about Excelsior, it's basically, because what it does is it plays recordings by its previous owners and then what they've also recorded. So it starts off with this Gazeri talking about how she went to Excelsior and was just bored by all the paladins constantly arguing over their different definitions of law. And it cuts to this like recording of all these paladins like getting up and saying, brothers, we need to go and fight this evil here. This is our cause. And they're all saying, yes, let's do it. And they're all about to leave. Another paladin says, no, I have a more just cause. We need to go and deal with this problem over here. And then suddenly everyone starts saying yes. And it goes around like 5 rounds and nobody ever leaves because it's just everyone keeps coming up with a new, different just cause to go after. And until the Gazeri gets the shits and turns it off. I thought it was quite a funny take on multiple paladins trying to work together.
I love it. Yeah. I don't just everything about the paladin appeals to me. I love it. The only thing that I like, so like my brain often goes back to World of Warcraft because I played so much of it when I was growing up. That the analogous to the paladin that really appealed to me also was like the shaman, right? Like very similar ideas,
Tauren shaman,
a different like faith focused. But still kind of same idea.
Got double up your reincarnates, so you never have to pay.
So
only bitches go to the graveyard.
I love the shaman fantasy. It's not a very common class though in role playing games or fantasy classes in general. But the shaman to me is really just another flavor of paladin. It just has
you should really play.
It just has a different theme.
Spears of the Dawn sometime.
Yeah, I would be willing to do that.
Yeah, one of the magic spells is to summon cows.
But yeah, if there was a way to play an enhancement shaman in 5th edition, I probably wouldn't ever play anything else, to be 100% honest with you.
I have my class, and it's Wizard, and I can't believe I didn't open with that. But yes, Wizard will always be my first choice in every system.
Always my last choice.
First choice.
Always my last. Never played a wizard.
Huge number of options. Extremely intellectual play by deciding what you're going to bring each day, counter picking the enemy. You never have to just be a bruiser like a sorcerer where you're just like, I'm just going to cast Fireball over and over again. You get more elegant choices like Dominate Monster or Magic Jar. I'm really just telling the same story I told earlier tonight again, but yes. Grease, so many disabling spells, Glitter Dust. I'm really just listing spells.
Grease really is an extreme
Pathfinder specific, but yeah, like
I do have a constant feud with a friend of mine who believes that wizards are the best, and I like not so much. I think wizards are the best. I think that he thinks everything else is shit compared to a wizard. And so whenever he plays a wizard, I play a sorcerer, and then I always min-max the character. So after each combat, I go, oh, I did more damage than you. Oh, I killed more guys than you. Wizards are better.
The wizard is such. It's the control tower to the team. It is
the weapon of a more elegant age.
No, it's the support. I mean, you're never going to outdamage a sorcerer, as you just said, but you'll always be able to do something interesting as long as you're aware of what you're going into.
Wizards do have a much higher utility factor.
And for me, the wizard is always the guy that's buying like 15 different potions that you never think you're ever going to use. They're like, potion of psychic resistance, we're not going to use that. And then you're facing a boss 20 episodes later, and you're just like, oh shit, I got this thing in my backpack. Here, take this. All right, Illithid, suck on this, bitch.
I don't know. The class fantasy of the wizard just doesn't do much for me.
Okay.
I mean, I 100% agree that wizards are incredibly powerful in the game and useful and all that. I don't disagree with any of that, but I don't know. Just sitting back and doing stuff from afar. It's
oh
not my
boy,
game.
You haven't even heard of melee wizards, then, have you?
It's not my game.
Where at the mid levels, you're like, I will turn into a dragon. and just eat people.
I don't know, keeping track of spell book,
Caleb
spells.
Willowgas is doing that now. He keeps turning into a giant ape and beating people to death.
Yeah, I don't know if I
Yeah, that was my druid in
Yeah.
D&D.
do that as a druid. I don't know. Wizard just
Oh, don't worry. Wizards
Not
can
my
do
bag.
stuff your druid is never going to let you do. You want a plane shift? Like a bad boy? Druids don't get that shit.
Call 1-900. We spell you.
My group is happy for me to be the main healer as a druid. They found out that druids don't get resurrect, they only get reincarnate.
Yes. Good.
That's my favorite thing in the whole world. Well, you could just bring me back to life, right? Yep. Here's your chart that you roll on.
You're now a squirrel.
Oh, look. Yeah.
Enjoy life as a kobold.
Yeah, exactly. Enjoy that sun sensitivity that you now have. We'll get you a nice,
Blade
get you a
Singers,
nice
get the fuck out of here. Blade Singers are not wizards.
Of all the fanciness that a wizard can do, the best status condition that you can inflict on your opponent is death. And that's what I enjoy doing as a sword wielding, shield bashing wielder of the righteous power of God.
Yes, but instead of the righteous power of God, what if you were fueled with the power of devils? A few dark deals, and even greater power could be yours.
Warlock is another one that I never played much.
You're missing out. Warlock
never interested me.
I don't have
because of
anything
the whole-
against Warlock.
because
Yeah.
of the
I
whole
gotta tell you,
patron
Warlock
aspect.
is the only D&D class that's meant for long-term fighting. Most D&D classes, after 6 or 7 rounds, they got nothing left. Warlocks are just like, I'm at 500 feet away, riding a horse, and I'm gonna chain cast Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, that doesn't scream
Sorcerers
fun
can do that
gameplay
too.
to me.
You know, it might not seem like a fun game to you, but I gotta tell you, I would love to play a Warlock in a sort of kingdom, army building, Matt Koval style game. A Warlock would be a incredible team commander.
Yeah, I guess.
Tell you what you guess.
I don't know. I
Pick a
can't
card, any
imagine.
card.
I can't imagine 12 rounds of combat where my turn comes up and I'm like, I continue riding my horse and Eldritch blasting. Like, I don't know. I can't do that for very long and
Yeah,
still
you got a
be having a good
Gandalf.
time. What do you mean you got a Gandalf?
That Gandalf does that shit all the time in the Lord of the Ring movie. He's like, I raise my staff and cast a ray of light on the enemy. He does it in every single movie.
That's
Yeah,
not
but-
even Eldritch Blast though. That's just
Okay.
a cantrip.
Okay. No,
Not for
sometimes the light
on
hurts people.
Not for 10 turns, Arthur.
I mean, he runs a whole fucking army combat during the third movie.
Yeah, but I'm not watching a movie. I'm
He
playing
just
a game.
uses a light cantrip and then chain casts fear. That's all he
Okay.
does.
Let's get to some outros here.
Let's do it.
Ratosaurus, what do you have to say for yourself, you son of a bitch?
I am Ratosaurus. I really enjoyed tonight chit-chatting with you guys. I'm sorry we didn't get to play. I hope everybody's in good health next week. I don't know.
Wow, James. Wow. Wow. This hurts me.
I don't know what next week's going to be like for me. I mean, I'm definitely going to be here. We're definitely going to play. I may want to dip out like 30 minutes early or something like that. We'll just have to see how the session goes, because I will have to be up at probably 3 or 4 a.m. the next day to make it to the airport.
Okay, that's fine.
But
I have to be
yeah,
up at 3 or 4 a.m. tomorrow.
ew, gross.
Yeah.
I have to wake up at my normal 5 a.m. tomorrow. Yeah, I had a good time, James. I'm sorry we didn't get to play, but I love hanging out with you anyway. So I'm good. I'm glad I had a good time.
There'll be chances between now and the end of time to still play. So
Mhm, That's right. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with us and listening to us talk about stuff we like, I guess. So yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. James.
I am Grimdark James. Catch me at grimdarkpodcast.com on Arthur's 40k stream on Saturday. And I believe I'll be back here next week to play Medusa. I'll be dialing in from an island in the Great Barrier Reef. So hopefully the hotel Wi-Fi is good, but looking forward to that as well.
Sid Alpha.
Yes, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us while we chatted insanely. This was almost an Okeanos level introduction here. I think we still need to go at least another 10 minutes before we reach Okeanos level. So we got close. We tried our best. Yeah, I'll be back on Saturday for some more Hammer 40K. And hopefully this weekend I'll be able to actually get some videos out. My backlog is so massive, but the day job's killing me right now. It really is. I need to get some videos done. Absolutely need to. Yeah. So I will try and do that this weekend for you guys. And don't forget to come back and check out some more Hammer 40K action. That's all I got.
Is the Kool-Aid Man the star or the liquid? Have a good night.